Perry Groves, of course, he's talking about the 7-1 thumping that was handed out to QPR by Coventry earlier on this season. How much of a motivation will that be for those Rangers players today?
Yeah, very much so. Let's hope Harvey nicks a goal today for Rangers like he did against Wrexham, put them 1-0 up. And
don't encourage him, Ollie.
I love the I love the fact though that he talks about the game, about the 7-1 defeat. The last time Coventry scored 10 plus goals home and away versus opponent in the same season was in 1963-64 against QPR.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll be looking. They were in control of the game against Wrexham until Mbenge got himself ridiculously sent off for a challenge which was on the touchline where he didn't even go and get involved with the ball. And then Wrexham score 2 worldies in added on time from Windass and Rathbone. So they've got a lot to put right here at Loftus Road, and we know what the championship's like. If you put like a run of 3 wins together on the trot, then there's no reason that won't spring you up into the top 6. If you look at QPR, they've got a game in hand with a lot of the teams that are above them, and they're 7 points outside the playoff positions. They're on 40 points. Obviously Wrexham with their win are on 47, so there's no reason why they can't be realistic challengers for that playoff space.
Perry, thanks very much indeed. Keep an eye on him, Dance, please. Remember, from
I always do.
From 5:30, you can be the first to have your say on national radio on the Game Day phone-in with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. That's before a blockbuster from the Premier League. Liverpool against Newcastle is at 8 o'clock, live and exclusive on Talksport, and the action continues tomorrow. Join Sam Matterface and the gang for live updates from Sunday's sporting menu on Game Day Live from 1:30. First, though, can Coventry click back into gear on the road as they continue their push for automatic promotion? Let's join your commentary team at Loftus Road. The former Arsenal winger Perry Groves alongside your match commentator Ian Danter.
Thank you, Ollie, and a very good afternoon to you wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2. We are fast approaching the business end of the league season. Who's got the bottle to maintain their position? Coventry City have been top for an awfully long time, but their pressure, the position has never been under as much pressure as it is right now from Ipswich and Middlesbrough, hunting them down for top spot. So they've got to try and get their first win on the road since November to alleviate any immediate worries this afternoon. Let's run you through the team news. QPR, who were in the playoffs for a few seconds last Saturday before Wrexham's 2-goal salvo knocked them down to 12th. They make 2 changes from that defeat. Edwards and Hayden come into the side, so Ronnie Edwards making his debut. Joe Walsh is the QPR keeper. Ronnie Edwards at right back with Jimmy Dunn, Steve Cook and Rhys Norrington-Davis making up the rest of the back 4. Nicholas Madsen and Isaac Hayden holding in midfield, and then Karamoko Dembele, Harvey Vale and Paul Smith behind Richard Kone. For Coventry, 4 changes from the defeat at Norwich. Out go Torp, Essa, Thomas Asante and Wright. In come Eccles, Sakamoto, Rodoni and Sims. They will be 4-2-3-1 with Carl Rushworth, the goalkeeper, Milan Van Eyck, Bobby Thomas, Liam Kitching and Jada Silva across the back. Josh Eccles and Matt Grimes holding in midfield. And then Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, Jack Rodoni and Ephraim Mason-Clark behind Ellis Sims. Josh Smith from Peterborough is our referee this afternoon. Refereed 16 championship games so far this season. 2 red cards he's given out in all competitions so far this campaign, and 65 yellows in 19 games. Our commentary position today, just so you know, right at the back of the Batia stand, the main stand here. To our left is the loft end, where the most vociferous QPR support sits, opposite the Stanley Bowles stand, and then the school end to our right, the top tier of that of which is taken up with travelling Coventry City supporters, hoping they can get it right this time on their travels. QPR in their traditional blue and white hoops. Coventry get us underway on Talksport 2, wearing their chain strip of fluorescent orange shirt, shorts and socks, and a long ball downfield straight into the grateful arms of Joe Walsh, the QPR keeper. I will keep you updated on goals going in elsewhere around the Premier League and the EFL and Scotland this afternoon, with a whole clutch of games to keep you in touch with. 3 games in the Premier League kicking off right now at Brighton, Leeds and Wolves, for example. What I will say, Perry Groves, this pitch is a leveller. To say it's pockmarked would be being kind about the state of this playing
I just wondered
surface.
if they'd had the Horse of the Year show here before. Remember, we used to have it at Wembley. They've got all the hoof marks in the turf.
It feels that way.
And I think I need my missus has anti-glare driving glasses at night time for Coventry City's fluorescent orange kit.
If they pass straight out play thinking there's a teammate there, I'm going to want to know why. Long throw's going to come in from Coventry very early on here from the left-hand side, just past the midway point of the half. It's Van Eyck who launches it into the area, but headed out strongly at the back by Jimmy Dunn. Lob back out to Van Eyck, who's at the left-hand corner of the penalty area, but it's taken off his toe very strongly by Rhys Norrington-Davis, but then he loses out. Sakamoto with a cross and a header over from Rodoni, coming in from the right-hand side of the area. It's a good 3 yards over, but that's an early chance for Coventry City, pressurising QPR here, 0-0.
Oh, it's a brilliant cross from Sakamoto, just nicking it off of Ronnie Edwards, gets it onto his left foot and just whips it in first time. Rodoni coming in at the far post. I think he should be getting the ball down, Dance. He's got a really good position there, got above the defender, but he's come off the top of his head and gone over Walsh's crossbar.
It was 7-1 to Coventry at the CBS Arena back in August against QPR in the reverse fixture. A real statement performance after the disappointment of losing in the playoff semi-finals last season. Real clash between two players. Josh Eccles and Nicholas Madsen clashed just over the halfway line. Thankfully they're both getting up. I was worried for a moment there might have been a clash of heads. Meantime, Rodoni wins it back on halfway on this near side, with Coventry attacking the loft end to our left in the first period, but they've passed the ball out of play. We can't quite see the near touchline. It's a very tight stadium here, as many of you will know, at Loftus Road. We can't quite see the near touchline. You can only just see Julian Stefan and Frank Lampard standing at the edge of their teensy tiny technical areas down beneath us. It's 0-0, 2.5 minutes gone on Talksport 2.
Yeah, just looking at Coventry Dance, I wondered if Rodoni would be as the 10 and Mason Clark out on the left-hand side, exactly how Coventry have lined up. And I have to say, just in this first couple of minutes, Coventry have been very sharp, very snappy in their tackles. And you could tell that Frank Lampard has said that his team, he wants them to be on the front foot. Is exactly what they're trying to do, is impose themselves on QPR. Leyton
Orient 0, Port Vale 1. It's the first goal going in the afternoon in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Port Vale really struggling, but Kyle John has given them the lead at Brisbane Road. Earlier today, you heard it on Talksport, another woeful day for Leicester fans, beaten 2-0 at home by Charlton Athletic. Also wins for Wrexham and Southampton away from home. Good day for the away sides in the Championship. Bolton won at AFC Wimbledon. Bradford got their first win in a while by beating Doncaster in the Yorkshire Derby. Bristol Rovers beat the side just below them and in the bottom two in League Two. That's Newport, 3-0 to the Gas, and Grimsby and MK Dons continued their respective unbeaten runs, drawing 2-2. Another long throw for Coventry City, 0-0 with 3.5 minutes gone. It's going to be Van Eyck again to launch it into the area from the far right-hand side of the field. Really low and flat trajectory, but straight onto the head of Steve Cook, who nods it back to Van Eyck. Tatsuhiro Sakamoto now picks it up level with the 18-yard line. 2 QPR players around him, and he wins a corner off one of them. Coventry's first corner of the game at the loft end, 0-0.
You know what, Dan, when you watch a player and you see how they start the game off, and just looking at Sakamoto, he is really sharp. 3 times he's had the ball, twice he's got crosses in, one from the left-hand side, one from the right. There, just tries to go on the outside of Norrington Davis, and Coventry get themselves a corner on their right-hand side.
To be taken by Matt Grimes, left-footed in-swinger onto the 6-yard line. Again, Cook's there with a header to get it out of harm's way, at least temporarily. Thomas working hard to win it back, though, down the right-hand side for Coventry. It's whipped into the near post, but a comfortable catch for Joe Walsh. Motherwell take the lead at Livingston in the Scottish Premiership. The Mothers 5 unbeaten. And it's Tawanda Mashwanise that gets the goal for the Mothers in that game. Now down the left-hand side, it's looking for Paul Smith, and he's actually forced the defender Bobby Thomas to put it out for a throw to QPR, almost where the corner flag is, where the Stanley Bowl stand meets the school end.
Just a simple ball from Norrington Davies, just down that left-hand side, just trying to release Smith, who said there. Then Thomas comes out, Smith puts him under pressure. That gives QPR a throw-in opportunity. Another long throw going to come in from Smith.
So the diminutive midfielder Paul Smith Let's see what his long throw is like. Leans back against the advertising hoardings to give him some purchase on the throw. And the throw is skewed out of play. An attempted clearance downfield by Bobby Thomas. Just put it straight behind. Shanked it for QPR's first corner of the game.
Yeah, it looks like someone had tied Bobby Thomas's shoelace together there, Dan, because it wasn't a difficult clearance that he had to make. And from his right foot, he just shanked it completely. Give QPR their first corner over on the left-hand side.
Spotted down by Nicholas Madsen. So again, this is between the Stanley Bowl stand and the school end on the far right-hand side of the field from our commentary position at the back of the main stand. So it's to be a right-footed in-swinger from Madsen. A lot of movement in the 6-yard box. It's punched away by Rushworth. Comes out to the edge of the area. Tucked back out by Dembele to Madsen, who just chips it back into the area, but that's a more comfortable catch for Rushworth that time, and immediately clears from hands, trying to get teammates downfield, but it was overhit and straight through to the opposing keeper, Joe Walsh. It's 0-0 on Talksport 2 with 6.5 gone at Loftus Road.
Right, Dan, so that was really good goalkeeping initially from Rushworth, because as the ball was in-swung from that left-hand side, you had Ronnie Edwards being the nuisance around the goalkeeper for QPR. Rushworth makes sure he got a really good right fist to it. Then the ball gets cleared out to the edge of the 18-yard box, comes back in, and Rushworth just packs it out the sky.
Long ball downfield, neat header down by Kone, and it's worked out to Dembele on the right-hand side, right-hand corner of the area. Has got Jay Da Silva backpedaling. Dembele goes for a drive, but it's no pace, and it's very comfortable for Rushworth to collect in front of his goal line. But that's a half opportunity there for QPR at 0-0 with 7 gone.
Yeah, it was really good play from Kone. QPR centre forward as the ball coming out to him, just headed it out to Dembele out on this right hand side. Obviously favours his left foot, just getting the ball onto his favoured left foot, just cutting inside Van Eyck, and he said he couldn't quite wrap his left foot around it. Easy save for Rushworth.
I think Wolves had the ball in the back of the net against Bournemouth, but VAR's had its way, and it's still 0-0 at Molineux in the Premier League. 0-0 here at Loftus Road. Kone penalised for a challenge on Thomas, and Coventry take the free kick quickly. Still got the ball in their own half. It is back with their number 4, Bobby Thomas. Kitching just to his left, rolls it back to his central defensive partner, and now Kitching again. In fact, they're just happy to pass it between them for the last few minutes, Thomas and Kitching, and there's no real pressure on the ball either.
Yeah, I think what QPR have gone back into like a mid-block. They're going to like a 4-4-2. Val goes up level with Kone and just said to the two Coventry centre halves, you can have the ball, we're not going to come and press you.
Out to the left-hand side it goes for Coventry City, the near side to us. Jay Da Silva ropes it back to halfway, and Kitching, he now trots forward in possession, wants to slide the ball down the inside left channel for Rodoni. Rodoni goes down under pressure, wins a free kick for Coventry City. Just slightly obliterated from my view by the stanchion, the pole that holds up this main stand, but it will be a throw in the end, not a foul. It's going to be taken again by Milan Van Eyck from this left-hand side, the right back coming all the way across the field to take this long throw into the box. Hurls it into around the 6-yard line, but again Steve Cook's the first man there. Sakamoto tries to keep it alive, look for Rodoni, but QPR had bodies back and they get it clear. Smith charging out to the left-hand side, keeps it in play, faced up by Eccles, just tries to turn away from the challenge of Eccles, who had a nibble at him, and QPR win the free kick. 0-0, 9 minutes gone on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Perry Groves alongside me today.
Yeah, Eccles just getting a little bit too over exuberant there. Just, I said, Coventry have set their stall out, Dan. You can tell, can't they, that they're going to try and win their 50-50s. Say, over with Smith on that left-hand side for QPR. Maybe Eccles can just sort of stand off a little bit and not give away a cheap free kick.
Accrington Stanley 1, Cheltenham 0 in League 2. Stanley won 4 out of their last 6, and Sean Wally, their veterans, giving them the lead at the Wham. QPR trying to come forward, looking for Paul Smith down the left-hand side. He's taking the ball off Milan Van Eyck. Now flicks the ball infield to Madsen, just outside the area. Options to his right, but Madsen goes for goal from 30 yards, and it was blocked by 2 Coventry players. Comes back out to the middle of the park. Hayden can't find a teammate, now has it again. Jinks away from one and another. Dembele waiting for it, right wing, picks it up now, running at Jada Silva, knocks it back to Isaac Hayden at the edge of the area, gets it onto his right foot, the shot deflected, comes out as far as Vale, his shot is blocked just inside the area, pinball around the Coventry City 18-yard line, and then brilliantly Rodoni steps in and wins it off Hayden, and here come Coventry on the counter-attack with Sakamoto, slides it down the left-hand side but intercepted by Edwards to stop Rodoni getting away. It's real energetic, frantic stuff from both sides here, 0-0.
Dance, the pace of the game is absolutely relenting. And what you got is two sides here. Every time they get the ball, they want to go forward. Every time their first thought is, can we score?
Here's Vale putting the ball into the near post. Kone tucks it into the side netting. As he ran into the near post, the cross came in for the left. In went Richard Kone near post, tried to flick it with the outside of his right boot, but it nestled in the side netting, the wrong side of the goal for QPR, and Coventry have a goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, good link-up play on the left-hand side for QPR. Smith just releasing Norrington Davis. Norrington Davis is getting his cross first time in with his left foot. Kone doing what every good centre-forward should do, just trying to get himself across that near post, across Thomas, try and flick it with outside of his right foot. Unfortunately for QPR, just nestles in the side netting. 0-0
here on Talksport 2 in the Championship. Two important goals in League 2. Bromley, the leaders, are 1-0 up at Gillingham, looking to go 11 unbeaten. So they're one up. Danny Rose has also scored for Barrow at Swindon. Swindon on a dreadful trot of forms. 4 straight defeats for Ollie's side. And Barrow have the lead at the county ground. But as Burton take the lead against the League 1 leaders, Cardiff as well. Forward comes Richard Kone for QPR, making a nuisance of himself brilliantly just outside the area. Slips it into Harvey Vale, who takes the drive at the near post, but it's straight at Rushworth, who can gather comfortably for the Sky Blues. It's 0-0, but QPR are warming to their task here.
Yeah, really good centre-forward play from Kone as the ball just comes into him in that inside right channel. Just make sure that just uses his physical strength, Bully's kitchen, just ease him off the ball, then just a little reverse pass to Harvey Vale, gets him onto his right foot again, doesn't really get the contact he'd be looking for, just needs to get a cleaner strike. In the end it goes straight to Rushworth. Simple save from the Coventry goalkeeper, but really good build-up play from QPR.
Now Rushworth's playing chicken with Richard Kone, wait until he gets near him before he passes the ball outside his own penalty area. Long ball downfield was looking for Sakamoto, but Norrington Davis intercepted. It's good to see Rhys Norrington Davis getting regular football. I was at Bramall Lane when he picked up the most horrific ACL injury whilst a Sheffield United player. It ruined his chance to go to the World Cup with Wales, but it's good to see him fully back fit and playing competitive football. Jake Beasley got that goal for Burton, incidentally, against the League 1 leaders Cardiff at the Pirelli Stadium. And here at the Loftus Road Stadium in Shepherd's Bush in West London, it is QPR 0, Coventry City 0. And Liam Kitching has possession for Coventry inside his own half. Plays it left for De Silva, who gave it straight back to Kitching under pressure from Dembele. Now Bobby Thomas slides it out to Van Evert. Good ball in field for Sakamoto inside right channel. Oh, he rides the challenge of Cook. Gets up to the edge of the area. Finds Rodoni at the edge of the D. Tries to check back onto his right, but then he gets crowded out. Works it back instead to Van Evert. Van Evert trying to get round Smith, and he pushes Smith over as he tried to get round him right in front of the referee's nose, and he gives that as a free kick to Queen's Park Rangers, 0-0.
Yeah, just Sakamoto again on that right-hand side. Very, very positive cut inside. I think he could have got his shot in onto his left foot, just in that inside right position. Then he decides to roll it to Rodoni. Again, I think he could have got his shot away. But I think the pitch is having a bit of an effect, Dance, because normally you see perfect pitches, don't you, at every level you play at. And I think if the pitch was a lot better, a lot flatter, I think Rodoni and Sakamoto would have got their shots away on their second touch. They just take that extra touch.
This pitch looks like what I saw on ITV4 this morning at about 7 o'clock. The bid Max revisited from 1971, basically Arsenal and Crystal Palace playing on a ploughed field,
and every pass is a chip pass, and everyone.
Oh, nothing on the deck, absolutely nothing on the deck. Chesterfield 1, Walsall 0 in League 2. Will Grigg for Chesterfield. Walsall back-to-back 0-0, slipping down the table into 6th at the moment, and Reading lead at Northampton in the second half. That was a 2 o'clock kickoff at Sixfields. Jack Marriott puts Reading ahead in that game. 0-0 here, quarter of an hour played on Talksport 2. Who's had the best of it, Perry Groves?
You'd have to say in the final third it would be QPR, because Kone's up front for QPR's looked very sharp. Val's had that shot, went straight at Russworth. Corone's got the, across the near post, a little flick from Norton Davis's cross. So you think like going forward, QPR have had the best of this first 15 minutes.
Well, here's Karamoko Dembele playing a 1-2 and trying to get possession back at the right-hand corner of the Coventry box. Eventually, the Sky Blues do clear their lines, looking for Ellis Sims downfield, but he's been feeding off scraps, Ellis Sims, in these early stages, replacing Hadji Wright in the starting lineup this afternoon for the leaders. Mason Clark can't get past Edwards. Ronnie Edwards, who came through the Peterborough Academy, looked a really promising talent and ended up going to Southampton and not really sort of pushing on with that particular club, but this could be the perfect place for him to solidify regular first team football.
Yeah, with Edwards you don't have to look any further. Who would come in, like, sit in that sort of right back position.
Hey, here's Matt Grimes. I know what you did there. Don't think I don't know.
I didn't think he was a soul boy. I thought I've slipped my one by you.
I might be a drummer, but I'm not stupid. Throw in to QPR inside their own half. Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you. Barnsley lead against Stevenage in League One. Just 1 million 8 for the Tykes, but David McGoldrick, the old stager, has put them ahead at Oakwell. And a second goal for Kilmarnock. They're now 2-0 up on Aberdeen. And Middlesbrough just taking the lead against Norwich. That should interest most certainly fans of Coventry City listening to this commentary. They had the lead to Middlesbrough against Norwich City. And there's a foul on a Coventry player, Mason Clark, which means Matt Grimes will have a free kick for Coventry. That goal means that Middlesbrough would go on to 56 points, just 3 behind Coventry. Well, actually, no, 58 points. They go just 1 behind Coventry as things stand. Free kick for Coventry City, midway point of the QPR half. It's Hayden Hackney that got that Middlesbrough goal, incidentally. Left-footed delivery to come in from the Coventry captain. QPR holding their line at the 18-yard line. In it comes into the area, and Kitching, well, he didn't really know much about the header that he got on it in the end. He was almost turning away from the ball when he nodded it straight behind for a QPR goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, just Grime just trying to ease it in with his left foot from this left-hand side, just swinging it away from Walsh. To be fair, Dad, every time a ball's gone into the box, or if it's been a long throw from Van Eyck, QPR's 2 centre-halves, Dunn and Cook especially, have made sure that they've gone and attacked the ball and got the first contact.
Well, you'd expect nothing less of Steve Cook, given his years of service that I saw at Bournemouth, part of that promotion team. There's 2 players that have gone down clutching their knees off the ball. Dembele is one. Just trying to see who the other player is. Is it not sure whether it's one of the Coventry midfielders. Can't quite see which one. It's Mason Clark. So both Dembele and Mason Clark are not in a good way. They've not moved since falling to the deck, and I sincerely hope that this poor pitch is not the reason for these sorts of injuries potentially being picked up. You don't want that to be happening.
Yeah, what you hope, Dad, they're both just, he said that it's knee on knee, that they're just impact injuries, and neither of the players have got their studs caught in the turf, and twisted their knees.
What turf?
Mud, sorry.
Yeah.
Into the mud.
Well, we've got Mason Clark sitting up, although he's looking at his ankle. But Dembele has been lying on his side since he went to ground, and he's not moved. Sheffield United have the lead at Millwall. That's a big goal for Andre Brooks. They got a win after 3 successive defeats, and that was a big win against Ipswich. Now they're 1-0 up Sheffield United at 5th place Millwall. And Bromley, the League 2 leaders, have a second at Gillingham. Now 2-0 up. Ben Thompson with the second.
John my name stat of the day.
Oh, you've always got one.
Gillingham have never beaten Bromley in the Football League, conceding at least 2 goals in each game, which today.
Yeah, but how many games?
Today's the 4th.
Okay, so
I said it was a name stat.
It's misleading. It makes me think, oh, they must have played 27 times. Yeah.
I said it was a name. Just looking at the 2 players with Dembele, he looks like it has been an impact knee on knee with Dembele.
Yeah.
So he's sitting up now, obviously getting his treatment from the 2 QPR physio. It looks like he's going to be okay.
Big goal at the bottom of the Championship. Portsmouth 1, West Brom 0. That's 21st against 20th at the start of the day. Connor Chaplin, 3 unbeaten Pompey going into today, and West Brom with their new manager Eric Ramsey just 1 win in 8. I think there is a scenario whereby West Brom could drop into the bottom 3 today if results go against them. Really dreadful season for the Baggies.
And they're not very good away from home at 3 p.m. kickoffs in the Championship.
Indeed they are not. As it stands, they're 2 points above the bottom 3. Blackburn are currently drawing against high-flying Hull City. Swindon get an equaliser against Barrow at the County Ground in League 2. Ollie Palmer making it 1-1. And delighted to say that Karamoko Dembele got back to his feet, and then as soon as he put weight on his left knee, he was limping. I think he's done. I think his game's done, Perry. I don't think he's going to be able to continue, Karamoko Dembele. As for Ephraim Mason-Clark, he's just got to his feet, and he's going to get the once-over once he walks to the touchline. But for Karamoko Dembele, it's awful. He can't put weight on his left foot, and he needs a teammate in Richard Kone and a physiotherapist to help him off the pitch. Awful for Karamoko Dembele. I feel so sorry for him.
Do you know what's happened, Dan? So obviously it was a sort of a knee on knee, and I think what's happened is, as I said before, he's got his studs caught in the turf/mud here at Loftus Road. I think he's twisted his knee really badly. He's walking off very hesitantly.
Oh, I feel for him. But it was awful to watch him. He put his weight down on his left foot and instantly buckled underneath him. Mason Clark, I think, is going to be all right to come back on, but QPR are going to have to make a change here. Millwall have equalised against Sheffield United. That's 1-1. Mihailo Ivanovic equalises almost immediately after Millwall had gone behind at the Den. And Chesterfield are 2-0 up on Walsall. Former Spurs Academy graduate Dylan Markande gets the second for the Spyrites. That's in League 2. Back underway on Talksport 2, and they're going to be bringing on Daniel Benny in a minute. QPR as a direct replacement for the stricken Dembele. But Coventry, meantime, with a man advantage in possession down the far right-hand side with Van Ewijk. Tucks it back in field for Jack Redoni, and he in turn goes all the way back to the halfway line for the 2 centre-halves. First Thomas and then Kitching. Works it out to De Silva. And now played back by Eccles. Coventry will want to keep the ball in play as much as possible whilst they've got the man advantage before the change can be made. Here's De Silva laying it off to Mason Clark, who's back out there, making it 11 against 10. Now De Silva left-hand side, level with the 18-yard line. Jinks away from Vale, lays it back to Jack Redoni. He gives it back to De Silva in the left-wing position. Now Eccles joining in on this near side. Gives it back in field to Liam Kitching. The cross hasn't gone into the box yet. Kitching might deliver the cross as he gets down the left-hand side of the area. The cross, though, is comfortably cleared away by Edwards. Out of play, and this means that the change can be made. And Daniel Benny, who joined a couple of years ago from Perth Glory, only made 18 appearances, but he has scored this season in the League Cup against Plymouth, and the Aussie is on for Dembele as Birmingham take the lead at Oxford in the Championship through a Miles Peart-Harris own goal at the Kazam.
Well, they don't count own goals, apparently. Arsenal score own goals, they don't count.
Slightly bitter, are we, Perry, this afternoon? As Adrian Durham inviting you up on Talksport. By the way, that's an awful challenge that we've just seen from Richard Kone on Jack Redoni, and a yellow card for the QPR striker for going in hard on Jack Redoni. He is picking himself up, he's not injured, but the referee saw that as a yellow card offence and booked Richard Kone almost instantly. And it also pretty much a scissor challenge that was. Perry Gross, don't know what you thought of it.
Yeah, it is a yellow card dance because Kone, he's in control because he knows what he's doing, but he's gone with his right foot on the floor, his left foot just a little bit raised, and he's just chopped Redoni down completely. So Josh Smith, the referee, had no option but to give him a yellow card.
Grimes with a free kick for Coventry. Headed away by Edwards, only as far as Van Ewijk, who tries to tuck it back to Grimes, nods it forward. Attempt by Eccles to nutmeg Vale, but Vale wins it back for QPR in the right back position. Chips it down the near touchline to us, but it goes out of play. So it'll be a throw for Coventry City. Wigan 0, Lincoln 1. Jack Moylan on target again for Lincoln City. I was there at Sinsel Bank on Tuesday night as they absolutely wiped the floor with Bradford City. It's one of the best League One team performances I've seen in a very, very long time from Michael Scubala's Lincoln City, and they're in front at Wigan. Here comes Ephraim Mason-Clark for Coventry, up to the edge of the area, he's back to goal, lays it off to Eccles. De Silva joining in down this left-hand side. Can't get away from the attentions of plenty of QPR players hassling and harrying the Coventry players in possession. 2-0 to Portsmouth against West Brom. Milenik Ali wants of Exeter with a second goal for Pompey. QPR win the ball back, and away comes Harvey Vale for the R's, and he's got Paul Smith on his outside down the left wing. Kone and Hayden going into the box. Smith gets the ball on his right, crosses, volley clear, thumped clear by Eccles up to halfway, but Dunn gets the better of Sims. In fact, Dunn and Cook were both challenging Ellis Sims for the ball, and that's the problem. So often you see it when you've got a 4-2-3-1. The one, i.e. the striker, normally has a terrible time trying to win aerial battles when he's got two central defenders up against him. 0-0 here.
What you have to do then, you have to make sure that whoever's playing their 10 gets really close to him. And that's what's been happening for QPR, Dan Tax, with Kone.
Oh, lovely ball from Hayden infield to Kone, up to the edge of the area, quick feet to take him out to the left hand side of the box, running away from goal. He's got Bobby Thomas at his back, and Thomas puts it out for a corner kick at the school end to Queen's Park Rangers. 0-0 with 26 gone.
Yeah, it's a really good ball from Madsen into Kone, and we said about the 10s playing up front on their own. Kone's having miles more an impact at the moment than Ellis Sims, even though Coventry sort of dominate possession. Kone's giving the Coventry centre-half Thomas and Kitchen a bit of a rough time doing it, and also what happens there is Harvey Vale goes and gets a little bit close to him, so then they play as a two. So QPR have been better than Coventry in the final third. A corner for QPR on the left-hand side,
where the Stanbowl stand meets the school end, and it will be Nicholas Madsen to take it. Right-footed in-swinger from the Dane. Good delivery, headed out strongly though by Liam Kitchen. Great header clear from the Coventry centre-half. Carlisle 1, Altrincham 0 in the non-league, in the National League. QPR win the ball back as Coventry tried to break. And it goes up to halfway, and it's dealt with by Norrington Davis. Lovely touch from Steve Cook. Flicked it away from Radoni like he wasn't there. And then tucked out to the left-hand side, and Isaac Hayden, who can have a run down that left-hand side, puts the ball into the box. Oh, it almost dropped for Vale. Great touch on the header from Liam Kitching to keep it away from at least 3 QPR players who are queuing up at the far post to get their head on that. Meanwhile, Ellis Sims can't get away from Jimmy Dunn, and QPR are doing all right here. It's 0-0. But they're giving the league leaders plenty to think about here as Arsenal take the lead at Leeds. Martin Zubimendi is offside. No, he's not. He is. He's onside. You're right.
He doesn't get further enough forward to be offside.
Peterborough 0, Huddersfield 1. It's a good start to life at Huddersfield for Liam Manning. Hopefully he won't have to do it with 10 men again today like he's done the last 2 games since coming in as new Huddersfield manager. Crawley 1, Harrogate 0. In League 2, Max Anderson and Bromley, the leaders of League 2, have got a third at Gillingham already. Corey Whiteley making it Gillingham 0, Bromley 3. Approaching the half hour, and you can hear the atmosphere around us here at Loftus Road. It's QPR 0, Coventry City 0, and there's plenty to encourage the locals here from the way Julian Stefan's men are going about their business, even if they haven't yet really forced Carl Rushworth into a big save.
Yeah, he's had one save which been on target. Dan says at Harvey Vale, and it shot went sort of straight at him. But the good thing about QPR,
as Kone comes forward again using great strength, trying to barrel his way through from the sort of the left hand side into the centre, and he ends up taking too heavy a touch, and the ball ricochets behind in the end for a goal kick to Coventry City. Perry Groves, you were saying? Yeah,
the good thing about QPR is when they get in the final third, when they get in the wide areas, they don't hesitate to put the ball into the box. And what happens is, you mentioned with Kone up front on his own, they do flood players into the box. Obviously Dembele's gone off now, but he was very lively in that sort of first 10 minutes, and Smith's the same over on the left hand side.
Slightly heavy touch from Edwards trying to clear the ball. Radoni picks it up for Coventry City, 0-0. Drifting down the inside right channel, now down the right hand side of the area, wins a corner off Cook, and it will be another Coventry corner at the loft end to our left hand side, 0-0.
Yeah, it's good play from Rodone. So just drifting out from that 10 position out to that right-hand side. Couple little Michael Flatley foot overs, tries to go on the outside of Steve Cook.
They are a better team when he's in that starting 11, Jack Rodone. He's had hip and shoulder problems of late. Did have an injury earlier in the season. And he's not been quite the same player since he came back, certainly in terms of his goal getting. But he's won a corner here for Coventry where the loft end meets the Stanley Bowl stand over on the far left-hand side from us. Matt Grimes to take it. The captain, left-footed in-swinger, drives it in now, right under the crossbar, headed out by Cook. Comes out to Eccles, a swing and a miss with an attempted goal from 25 yards out. But Coventry have still got it. Worked out to the right-hand side, and Grimes, right-hand corner of the area, tries to drive it in near post, but it was cleared away by the QPR defence. And now, lovely touch from Edwards, and away comes Vale. Here come QPR on the counter-attack, and a vital footing from Jay Da Silva, who turns it into a corner because Vale was trying to play in Richard Kone inside the area, right-hand side. Very important toe end in from Jay Da Silva, but it is a corner to QPR, 0-0.
Yeah, it's a right idea from Harvey Vale. Kone just having that threat in behind, getting himself in between Thomas and Kitchen. And what Harvey Vale's got to do there, Dance, is he's got to hit the space. He hasn't got to give Da Silva that chance to get his big right, his left toe in, to get that little interception. If he puts it into the grass, then Kone's in on goal on the right-hand side. But you said there, Da Silva did brilliantly. Just made sure he got the interception. Corner for QPR on their right-hand side.
Down beneath us to our right, where the main stand, the Batia stand, meets the school end where the Coventry fans are, at least in the top tier. QPR fans are in the bottom tier of that school end to our right. So it's going to be Nicholas Madsen, the Dane, once again, but it'll be a right-footed outswinger from him this time. Rotherham leader Exeter, Jamal Baptiste for Rotherham, who won their first game in ages last time out. So right-footed outswinger from Madsen for Queen's Park Rangers. Goes to about the 6-yard line, headed out by Kitching, but nobody forward for Coventry, so it's Norrington Davis that retrieves the loose ball. Feeds it out to Paul Smith, left-hand side. Vale helping him out down the left-hand side of the area. Manages to dig out a cross, but it's landed at the edge of the area, nodded back in over the head of Kone, who went to ground, claiming he was being fouled, but the referee quickly wagged his finger and waved away any protests.
Well, Eccles is about, 5'6", 5'7", and Kone's 6'1", 6'2".
Oh, I think Eccles is a bit taller than that.
He's gone down Kone like he's been hit on the top of the head with a lift there. Honestly, it was a brush, wasn't it?
Down the left-hand side for Coventry, Jay Da Silva coming forward at 0-0. Sends a cross into the box. Sims took a really heavy touch, couldn't control it. And QPR get it half clear, but then a poor touch in midfield allowed Grimes to step onto it. He tried to bend it towards goal from fully 50 yards out, but it went well over the crossbar. Ephraim Mason-Clark might be feeling some after effects of that earlier challenge because he's gone down again for Coventry City. Barnsley are 2-0 up meantime at home to Stevenage in League One. Davis Keeler Dunn once again on the score sheet. That's 12 goals in the season for Davis Keeler Dunn. Remember, there's live football tonight on Talksport from the Premier League, 8 o'clock kickoff. Liverpool, Newcastle, all those memories of Stan Collymore and Robbie Fowler and great winners. And of course that was the Carabao Cup final last year where Newcastle triumphed. Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce, your commentary team on Talksport. That's tonight from 8 p.m. And whilst Ephraim Mason-Clark's getting treatment on this near side, the left-hand side, just outside the QPR penalty area, everybody else has come across to this near side to take on water and a bit of coaching instruction. I can tell you that Bournemouth have got the lead at Wolves in the Premier League. Junior Krupi with another goal for him. Impressive from the Bournemouth youngster. 4 unbeaten now, Bournemouth, after a bit of a wobble, and they've scored 12 goals in their last 5. So there's a bit more about Andoni Iraola's side.
They've only had one away win this season, haven't they, Bournemouth?
Yeah, that's true. Incidentally, more live sport later. We've got the live football on Talksport tonight. As I mentioned, Liverpool, Newcastle, and there's going to be a change here for Coventry. Mason-Clark cannot continue, so Romain Esse, recently arrived on loan, will come on to replace him, on loan from Palace till the end of the season, Romain Esse. But we do have some live sport here on Talksport 2 for the rest of the evening at 6:30. We're going to be off to Miami for the Formula E Miami City E-Prix, the 3rd race of the season. John Jackson and Lewis McGlade will bring you full live commentary of that Formula E Grand Prix from Miami. And then we're off to Torrey Pines for the third round of the PGA Tour Farmers Insurance Open Golf. So plenty of live sport for the rest of this Saturday evening around the Talksport network. Ball long forward for Richard Kone, nodding it onto the crossbar via a brilliant touch from Carl Rushworth. Suddenly it was lobbed forward. Richard Kone got his head to it, trying to nod it over the back-pedalling Carl Rushworth, who made a brilliant save to tip it onto the bar, and it ends up being a QPR corner with 10 to half-time, 0-0.
Dance, all the QPR fans thought that was going to nestle in the back of the net, because Kone, just from 10 yards out, brilliant header, gets it over top of Rushworth, and it's his foot movement, Dance. He moves his feet brilliantly, Rushworth, and then he gets a brilliant spring with his right foot, and then just tips it over with the tip of his big middle right finger. Corner for QPR over there, left-hand side.
Quite brilliant save, but it is a corner for Queen's Park Rangers. Madsen to take it right under the crossbar. Rushworth has dropped it. It's gone straight through his hands, but it comes out away from danger from the Coventry point of view, at least for the time being. Comes out to Jimmy Dunn in the right wing, manages to get the ball into Hayden. Little touch from him at the near post, and he wins a corner off Kitching. QPR still pressing here. 9 minutes to half time, and the league leaders are being asked questions once again.
Dan, you see the perilous life of a top goalkeeper, because it's a brilliant save from Rushworth from Kone's header, tipped over crossbar, and the ball comes in. He should be picking it like you pick apples off a tree, and he's actually turned it into a bar of soap. Just sort of completely missed the ball, goes through his hands. Another corner for QPR on their right hand side.
Down to our right again, where the Batty stand, the main stand, meets the school end, and Nicholas Madsen very carefully placing the ball down to be a right-footed outswinger again. Plenty of QPR players beyond the far post looking to make runs across towards the taker. As in it comes from Madsen, looking for Steve Cook, can't quite climb. Tatsuhiro Sakamoto chests it down and hooks it away for Coventry. Edwards giving chase, and he'll keep it in play, and under pressure from Sims and Esser, he's going to lob it out of play. Esser, who scored against Norwich on Monday but didn't start today, but he's back on because of that injury to Efren Mason-Clark. And Kadamoko Dembele has already gone off for QPR after being involved in that same challenge.
You see when, like, Coventry obviously defending their corners, Sakamoto stands probably just on the edge of the box for Coventry. You might as well go and put him up front. You might as well go and say, right, you go and stand on the halfway line, and that means that QPR have to keep two back, and at least if you get the first contact and Coventry manage to clear the ball, then they've got a chance to get out. But when they're getting the first contact, which they have a couple of times, Kitchen Thomas, it means the ball comes straight back in again.
That's the thoughts of Perry Groves alongside me, Ian Danter, here at Loftus Road, where we have about 7 minutes to half time, plus whatever will be added on. There will be a bit of stoppage time because of that injury treatment given to Messrs Mason-Clark and Dembele. Coventry in possession just in front of their own 18-yard line, but no pressure on the ball as Bobby Thomas passes to his immediate left, and Liam Kitching floats it downfield looking for Ellis Sims. He's had nothing, has he, to feed off Ellis Sims so far this afternoon?
Yep, he's just feeding on scraps.
Isaac Hayden flicks it down for Benny, and then Edwards tries to loft it down the QPR right looking for Harvey Vale, but it's gone straight out of play. Stevenage get a goal back at Barnsley. That's now 2-1. Dan Kemp gets the goal back for Stevenage, who are 3 unbeaten and starting the day in 7th. Barnsley down in 15th. Carlisle 3-0 up on Altrincham in the National League. And Coventry fire the ball downfield. Again, looking for Sims, but that's meat and drink for somebody like Steve Cook, with all the experience he's got. And it's worked back to Walsh, the keeper. Fires it right-footed downfield, looking for Benny. And Notts County have taken the lead at Fleetwood. Here's Jack Rodoni for Coventry City, finding Sakamoto at the edge of the area, faced up by a defender, gets the shot away, but a couple of ricochets benefit QPR, and eventually they put it out of play for a Coventry throw that Van Ewijk's going to hurl into the QPR box, 0-0.
Brilliant link-up play of Esse and Rodone. Great little Cruyff from Esse into Rodone, out to Sakamoto. Sakamoto gets the ball into his left foot. Really good block from Cook, the QPR captain. He said there, Van Ewijk will now hoist its ball into the penalty area. It's
a higher delivery than his last throw. Bounces around the 6-yard box. Coventry trying to get the second ball. That's won back by Matt Grimes. Tucked out to the right-hand side, Van Ewijk. And now Essa trying to roll his defender, but Norrington Davis sticks to his task well, and QPR have got it clear. Vale trying to turn away from trouble. Did manage to get it towards halfway, but Smith couldn't pick up the loose ball. Leeds 0, Arsenal 2 in the Premier League. An own goal from Leeds keeper Carl Darlow has put the league leaders in
goals don't count, apparently.
You are so bitter. So bitter.
Just been irony.
Hang on. What were you saying to Adrian Durham earlier? Are Arsenal 4 points off the relegation zone, or are they 4 points clear at the top? You're 4 points clear at the top. Knock it off. Knock it off. Are you back on duty tomorrow afternoon?
No, I'm not. Tomorrow. No,
you've got a day off, have you, for Sunday? Game day live. That's a rarity.
I'm up at the Sunderland Empire.
Ah, right, okay. Here's Roman Issa down the left-hand side for Coventry City. Great ball across the area. Wow, wonderful whip on that left-handed centre. And Sims hadn't really anticipated it. And QPR turning behind for a Coventry corner at the loft end. 0-0.
Dance, that is the ball of the day from Silva on this left-hand side. Just gets it and whips it in with his left foot right across that 6-yard box. Nobody's in there, Dance. There's nobody in there. You said about Ellis Sims up front for Coventry, just sort of feeding on scraps. That's where he should be. If he's in between the posts, he gets a tap in with his right foot. You had Sakamoto coming in from that right-hand side. Brilliant cross, corner for Coventry over on their right.
So again, Matt Grimes to take it for Coventry City. 41 minutes gone. Lance on the 6-yard line, headed away by QPR, but Eccles lofts it back to the edge of the area, nodded down by Bobby Thomas. Then it might break for Ellis Sims, but the offside flag goes up against Coventry's number 9, and the referee says play on, and Joe Walsh just thumps it downfield looking for Paul Smith, who's in a race with Van Eyck to get to the loose ball. Goes down right at the corner of the penalty area. Free kick to QPR as Van Eyck couldn't get around the QPR midfielder, just had a nibble at him, and down went Paul Smith, and QPR have a free kick in a very dangerous position at 0-0.
It's good play from QPR's goalkeeper Walsh, just getting the ball from the cross and just making sure that he releases Smith. And he was just like a little annoying wasp there, wasn't he, Paul Smith? Because as the ball was bouncing up, it looks like Van Eyck was just going to handle it, with ease. And as the ball bounced up, Paul Smith did really well, because all he made sure, Dan, he just made sure he just leant into him and made sure that he got his body between Van Eyck and the ball. And then Van Eyck panicked, and obviously he's barged him over with his shoulders in the middle of his back. And quite rightly, Josh Smith, the referee, given a free kick to QPR on the edge of the 18-yard box.
It's right at the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Vale and Madsen standing over it. Left or right foot delivery coming up for QPR. It's Madsen with a right-footed delivery, but straight at the goalkeeper, who dropped it, almost gave it straight to Richard Coney in front of goal, but he managed to clutch it as the ball hit the deck from his original drop. Rushworth stays 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, delivering from Madsen, in swimming with his right foot. I actually think he's gone for goal, and he's hit it straight at Rushworth. And you said there was a heart in the mouth for the Coventry fans behind Rushworth's goal, because he dropped it, and lucky enough for him, he fell on it straight away before Coney could get his toe to it.
0-0 here at Loftus Road in the Championship in League One. Plymouth lead at Stockport by a goal to 0. 7 unbeaten Plymouth now under Tom Cleverley, and Walsall get a goal back at Chesterfield. Daniel Carnu making it Chesterfield 2, Walsall 1. Coventry in possession, the league leaders, who again are having a stern examination of their credentials on the road in the Championship. And this is a QPR side that have got a whole host of players out injured as well, not least Ilias Chair, their most creative attacking midfield talent. But they're more than a match for their visitors this afternoon so far as we approach half-time.
Well, I think Coventry, obviously, said that, they're battling hard, Dan. So no, there's no lack of effort, but I just think in the final third there's been no creativity, there's been no inspiration. They haven't had a shot on target. You're just coming up to half-time, so you'd want players like Rudoni, Essa's obviously just come on as well, Sakamoto, to get themselves more involved in the game.
Ball's back with Liam Kitching. Passes out to this near touchline. Rudoni on halfway. Gives it back to the Coventry number 15. Now Bobby Thomas picks up possession for the visitors. Back for Kitching at the edge of the centre circle, inside his own half. Sims just trying to make runs in between the two centre halves. Long ball downfield was looking for Van Eyck, but well over hit. And just one bounce, and it's through to Walsh, the QPR keeper.
Yeah, just too straight there from Thomas. Just picking up on that right-hand side on the halfway line, say trying to release Sakamoto on that right, but just far too straight, just goes through to Walsh, picks up quite comfortably.
Paul Smith trying to win a header. He's not the tallest, as Perry's mentioned. Keeps the ball in play on this far side of the field. Left-hand side for QPR. 3 going into the box. Smith goes down, wanting a penalty. Went over the leg of Grimes. And as we go into 5 minutes of added time, referee said nothing doing with that. As Coventry try and respond and send the ball down the left-hand side, and Essa will pick the ball up down that left-hand side, up against Edwards. Poor touch, allows Edwards to get something on it, and he ends up conceding a goal kick there. What did you make of those penalty claims? You can hear the boos around the stadium, Perry Groves.
You know, it was good play initially from Smith over that left-hand side, just cuts inside Grimes, and to be fair to Grimes goes to make the challenge dance, but then he brings his left foot away, puts his arm up in the air, and Josh Smith, the referee, what was he, 8 yards away?
We're just seeing a replay of it now.
I think first looks, I think he actually got it right. But I'm just looking at, say, Smith just cutting inside, coming inside onto his right foot. So just cuts inside, and they say, I think Grimes does really well, Dad. So I think Grimes knows what Paul Smith is trying to do, and he just stands his ground and say he doesn't actually put his left leg out. He just stands still, and then Paul Smith goes over him. I think it's really good refereeing from Smith.
Gillingham get a goal back at home to Bromley, but Bromley firmly in control of that League 2 game, the leaders. Gillingham 1, Bromley 3, Bradley Dack. And it's 0-0 here at Loftus Road. Good touch up to halfway from Benny, and now Vale. Benny's gone ahead of him into the Coventry half, but a poor pass from Vale intercepted by Grimes, and Coventry have it back. So we're into the second minute of the 5 minimum that have been added on by the referee at the end of this first half. Macclesfield, vanquishers of Crystal Palace in the third round of the FA Cup. They're 2-1 up in their National League game this afternoon against Bedford Town. Here is Matt Grimes, just in between the two Coventry centre-halves for the moment, up to halfway, Kitching with a diagonal ball downfield, touched in field by Van Ewijk, but hooked away by Cook. And now with Van Ewijk downfield, Paul Smith has got space to charge into down the far side of the field for QPR. Norrington Davis goes on ahead, picks it up now, level with the 18-yard line, puts an early cross in. Vale can't quite reach the header, comes out to Hayden. Poor first touch at the edge of the area, tried to set himself for a shot, but the first touch allowed Coventry to win it back. Now Daniel Benny, the substitute, down the right-hand side, finds a bit of room down this near side. Madsen now level with the 18-yard line at the corner of the box. Benny can't get away from the challenge of Rodoni or Essa, but QPR have kept possession, and then Hayden is dispossessed by Grimes, and away goes Rodoni. Late counter-attack at the end of this first half for Coventry City, but Rodoni's ball asks a lot of Ellis Sims. He's kept the ball in play, and he's onside according to the assistant. Essa swings the ball in. Rodoni trying to make room for a shot, but he can't get away from the back line. Norrington Davis got an important touch, and up it goes to Kone near the halfway line, who ends up winning a throw for QPR just shy of the halfway line. And there were more boos for, I think, the assistant, thinking that Sims was offside. A lot of the locals here. Here's Kone, meantime, left-hand corner of the Coventry penalty area, rolling his foot on the ball, works it back inside to Madsen. Madsen running out of room on that far side of the field, looks for Paul Smith. Smith goes down under pressure from Kitchen, gets back to his feet, then looked like he might have got a push. The ball somehow stayed in play on that far side of the pitch, with Kitching and Smith wrestling for it, and Kitching's holding Smith down. He's pushing down into his back, but the referee says nothing and ends up with Coventry getting a goal kick.
Well, the QPR fans think there's a rat in the kitchen over on that far side, because how many times did Paul Smith go down there? 4 times, where Kitchen just trying to obviously close him down and get closer to him. And again, obviously the QPR fans a bit frustrated, but you have to say the position of Josh Smith, the referee, was spot on. He was only 5 yards away from it, basically saying to Paul Smith, you're going down too easy.
Accrington Stanley get a second at home to Cheltenham in League 2 right on half-time. Donald Love making it Accrington 2, Cheltenham 0. We've played 4 minutes of that minimum 5, so still a little bit of time left in this first half on Talksport 2 for somebody to break the deadlock. Here's Daniel Benny in the centre circle for QPR. Lays it back to Cook. Now out to Norrington Davis, left-hand side. Early ball downfield, picked up by Benny. He's drifted out to the left-hand side now for Queen's Park Rangers. And he's won a corner, has he? No, it came off him last of all. I thought just for a moment that it came off Eccles last of all, but not so. It did come off the Australian And so it's a goal kick once again to the league leaders, 0-0 approaching half-time.
Again, the thing that QPR have been really good at, Dance, when they've got the ball, the first thought is to go forward. Norrington Davis there on that left-hand side, left back position, just trying to feed into Benny, just going into that inside left.
And there go the boos at half-time from QPR fans. I think that's more to do with the decisions they feel have gone against them than anything else, because QPR have given a really good account of themselves against a Coventry City side who haven't really forced a major save out of Joe Walsh in the QPR goal, but Carl Rushworth had to be at his brilliant best when a long ball downfield for QPR saw Richard Kone in behind the Coventry backline. He tried to lob a header over Rushworth, but the backpedaling keeper somehow got his fingertips to it to turn the ball onto the crossbar and over a corner which came to nothing. There is the referee, Josh Smith, getting the bird from the locals as he makes his way down the tunnel. But even Stephen at the first half, and with Middlesbrough leading against Norwich, that means the gap is shortening between Coventry at the top and those below them in the table. At the break, it is QPR 0, Coventry City 0.
Dance, thanks very much indeed. So all square so far at Loftus Road, the league leaders with a bit of work to do. Perry, I want to talk about those incidents that the QPR fans weren't happy with, particularly the Paul Smith shout. I've watched a few replays of this penalty shout, and Matt Graham seems to divert a knee towards Smith as he goes down. I'll give it to you that he takes a bit of a tumble, but is there just not enough contact for you?
So was you booing Josh Smith as he walked off yourself then, Noel, was you?
Yeah, luckily my mic was off.
Look, trust me, I think the referee has been really good in this first half, Josh Smith. I think he's let the game flow really well. He's given a yellow card quite rightly out to Kone for a late challenge on Rudone. But you've got to look at the referee's position with it as well. It wasn't if he wasn't up with play. He was probably about 8 to 10 yards away. And what happens is, Smith does well on the left-hand side. He cuts in. Grimes knows what he's going to try and do. Grimes knows that he's going to, go inside him. And what he wants is Grimes to leave a trailing leg. And I think Grimes reads it. I think that he goes to put in it, and I think he pulls his leg away and Smith goes over too easily. So I think the referee's got that spot on.
Yeah, I think if Smith doesn't go down so theatrically, he might have had more of a chance of maybe convincing
but even then,
the ref.
Do you think there's enough contact there? Because, say, Grimes knows what Smith is going to do. Do you know what I mean? He knows what he's going to try and do. So Grimes does what, because Grimes puts his arms up in the air straight away, doesn't he? He's just saying, no, I'm not going to leave a lazy left leg out. So, yeah, I don't want to see penalties given for that, to be fair.
It's fair to say, though, really, Perry, that QPR have had the better of it so far too. Yeah,
when you look at the stats, if you looked at the stats, you'd think that Coventry were controlling the game. They've had 64% possession, but they haven't. They haven't controlled the game, and it's because QPR have made sure that they're sort of getting about them. They're like getting into the 50-50s where Coventry started off, really when that first sort of 10 minutes. So because QPR first thought, every time they get the ball, their first thought is to go forward. Julian Stefan, you can tell how a manager wants his team to play in the philosophy, and it is like, we ain't going to go lateral, not just going to go sideways for the sake of it. So when it goes out to Smith on the left-hand side, it was Dembele, at first on the right, and Benny's come on now as well. And what they do really well, I think Kone's been brilliant up front for QPR, because he's playing in that like 4-2-3-1, formation. But he's made sure that he's engaging Thomas and Kitchen every time the ball goes forward. And Harvey Vale does really well. He gets sort of around him. So even though Coventry have dominated possession, they haven't controlled to get the game, and that is all down to QPR.
Perry, Dance, thanks very much indeed. Second half action to come. The league leaders Coventry being held then at Loftus Road at the moment. The 5:30 game in the top flight comes from Stamford Bridge as Chelsea host West Ham. We're going to keep you across that game during the game day phone in over on Talksport, and we can speak to our reporter at Stamford Bridge, Ian Abrahams. Moose, how you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. 5 wins from 6 so far for Liam Rosenior. It's been a good start to life for him as Chelsea boss, hasn't it?
I think so. I mean, when you consider all, and there was real negativity, especially from the fans. When he got the job. I mean, don't forget, Chelsea fans are used to winning trophies, high-profile managers. When Ancelotti goes, you get in someone like Mourinho, and he goes Hiddink, and they've had a who's who names of managers down the years, and then suddenly Liam Rosenior, who's done an okay job as number 2 at Derby, really good job at Hull, and by all accounts, a really good job at Strasbourg. But it wasn't an really exciting, knock your pants off type of managerial appointment. So he's got to win the fans over. He clearly knows what he's doing, and he's got a very young squad to work with as well. So it's going to take time. It's going to be a work in progress. But yeah, I don't think he could really have started much better. I mean, the only defeat was that League Cup defeat to Arsenal.
Talk to me about West Ham as well, because they're
really? Do I have to?
Well, they've been on the up recently, haven't they? Was it the win over Spurs in the last minute? They were very good against Sunderland too. Are you worried though? You must be, about that gap at the bottom, which it's just so difficult, isn't it, to see whether they can claw that back.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, about a month ago, it looked like they were absolutely down when they lost 3-0 at Wolves. As you rightly say, the cup win over QPR was massive because it gave some confidence, and then the win over Spurs and the win over Sunderland. There's two ways of looking at this. You either look at the fact that, and the only team at the moment they look like two teams that can reel in realistically are Forest or Leeds, who've got a points advantage over West Ham. So, can West Ham win 3 more games or 2 more games before the end of the season than Leeds and Forest? Well, it's possible. I mean, they've still got to play Leeds at home. More realistically, I think this season, more than any other, it's going to take between 38 and 40 points to stay up. Well, can West Ham get that number of points? In the first half of the season, you'd have said no from their form. They're going to have to improve and keep on a trajectory they're on at the moment. This is hard today. Then they've got Liverpool away. Then they've got Manchester United at home. February is not a kind month for West Ham. You don't want to go into March with a massive points difference between the teams above you and yourselves, because that really does make life difficult. But, all they can do is look after themselves and hope that other teams maybe do them a favour here and there. It certainly isn't in their destiny right now.
A bit of bad news for West Ham. Rosenior has confirmed that Cole Palmer is available to start today. There's been a lot of talk, hasn't there? There was a bit of talk about, potentially Palmer leaving the club, but Rosenior said that he's very happy at Chelsea at the moment, and long may that continue. Yeah,
I mean, listen, I've spoken to Cole Palmer before, and he's been on England duty. He was the England 21 captain when I last spoke to him and did a sit down with him, and I think he'd just joined Chelsea, and I said, what's the main differences between London and Manchester? The weather's better here than it is in Manchester. The traffic is more horrific here than it is in Manchester. I mean, I didn't need to ask a footballer to tell me that, to be honest. I could work that out for myself. But I've never got the impression he's unhappy here. He's had an injury hit season. I think that would annoy any footballer, and in a World Cup year it's probably annoyed him more than anything else. But he's still a wonderful player. And the news that he's playing today can only really gladden the heart of any West Ham fan that will be in the shed end, obviously.
Enjoy the game, Moose, if you can. Thanks very much indeed. Ian Abrahams there, who'll be keeping you in touch with that game, Chelsea against West Ham. That's at 5:30. Remember, you can be the first to have your say on national radio in the game day phone-in from 5:30 with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. The second half of QPR 0, Coventry 0 is on the way, and we'll bring you the half-time classifieds next.
Online, on DAB+, and on the app. This is Talksport 2.
Hello, I'm a National Lottery scratch card. Over 5 people a second win with me. Ooh. That's like 30 winners since I started talking. Oh, 12 more. 14. 21!
Is there a win in store for you? Play a National Lottery scratch card today. Winners is an average. Search Dream Big, Play Small. Rules apply. Players must be 18 or over.
That's it. We need a bigger car.
Smart speaker, what's an award-winning SUV?
The Tucson is an award-winning midsize SUV and is available for a 24-hour test drive.
They look great. And it's a self-charging hybrid too.
Smart speaker, search offers on a Hyundai Tucson.
The Tucson is available with 2 years 0% APR. And it's Hyundai, by the way.
Discover the Hyundai Tucson self-charging hybrid. Ends 31st of March, 25% deposit, finance subject to status. Hyundai UK is a credit broker, not a lender. Terms apply.
We, the podcast, in order to establish opinion, the inside take,
provide for the common sense, and secure the blessings of our listeners,
do ordain and establish
the state of it, USA.
Join our Washington editor Katie Balls and Times columnist Gerard Baker as they unravel American politics in the state of it, USA. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
People are tuning into radio more than ever. Advertise here and get your message heard by up to 6.5 million switched on listeners every week. Email radio@news.co.uk.
Sky presents their fastest action release ever.
Critics are calling it the internet event of the year. Perfect for action-packed homes. Smoother streaming. The UK's fastest broadband speeds from any major provider have landed. Gigafast Plus. Out now. Sky. Believe in better.
Available to 12% of UK homes. Verify at sky.com/fastest speeds.
They say, go big or go home. But now you can go big at home with the Big Arch on delivery. That's right, the Big Arch is back and it's here to stay. Big Arch for big McDonald's hunger. Order in the McDonald's app. Served from 11 a.m. 18 plus. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Upcharges apply to delivery orders. Subject to availability. Price and participation may vary.
This was made with human intelligence.
And artificial intelligence.
Just like Intuit QuickBooks Business Management software. Why? Because when you're working in a growing business, complexity
grows too.
So new QuickBooks AI gives you real-time cash flow visibility.
To make the most of opportunities. It's amazing.
I was going to say that. I'll do it with Intuit QuickBooks.
On your marks, get set, go hybrid. The new Toyota Aygo Cross Hybrid. More oomph than a Friday feeling and smoother than your last online date. More confidence, more go in a new hybrid engine with 0% APR representative over 24 months. The new Toyota Aygo Cross Hybrid. Go on. Visit your local Toyota centre. Price from £21,595. Available on Toyota PCP when financed through Toyota Financial Services by 31st March 2026. Optional final payment indemnities may be required. See website conditions apply.
Every emotion and total devotion.
It's game on. This is Talksport 2.
This is game day. Halftime classifieds.
This is EFL Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2. I'm Ollie Klink. The second half of QPR 0, Coventry 0 is on the way. It's currently goalless at Loftus Road. Let's get your half-time classifiers scores then, shall we? Starting with
Premier League.
3 o'clocks in the Premier League. It's Brighton 0, Everton 0 at half-time, Leeds 0, Arsenal 2 and Wolves 0, Bournemouth 1.
Sky Bet Championship.
Earlier on Talksport 2, it finished Leicester 0, Charlton 2. In the other 12:30s, it finished Sheffield Wednesday 0, Wrexham 1 and Stoke 0, Southampton 2. In terms of the half-times, it's Blackburn 0, Hull 0, Ipswich 0, Preston 0, Middlesbrough 1, Norwich 0, Millwall 1, Sheffield United 1, Oxford United 0, Birmingham 1, Portsmouth 2, West Brom 0, QPR 0, Coventry 0 and Watford 0, Swansea 0.
Sky Bet League 2.
In the early kickoffs in League 1, it finished AFC Wimbledon 0, Bolton 1, Bradford City 1, Doncaster 0, Northampton 0, Reading 2. And at half-time, it's Barnsley 2, Stevenage 1, Burton 1, Cardiff 0, Exeter 0, Rotherham 1, Leyton Orient 0, Port Vale 1, Luton 0, Blackpool 0, Mansfield 0, Wickham 0, Peterborough 0, Huddersfield 1, Stockport 0, Plymouth 1 and Wigan 0, Lincoln 1.
Sky Bet League 2.
Earlier on, it finished Bristol Rovers 3, Newport 0 in League 2 and Grimsby 2, MK Dons 2. At half-time, it's Accrington 2, Cheltenham 0, Chesterfield 2, Walsall 1, Crawley 1, Harrogate 0, Crewe 0, Colchester 0, Fleetwood 0, Notts County 1, Gillingham 1, Bromley 3, Oldham 0, Cambridge United 0, Shrewsbury 0, Barnet 0, Swindon 1, Barrow 1 and Tranmere 0, Salford 0. OK, at Loftus Road at the moment, Coventry, the league leaders, have a bit of a job to do. It's currently 0-0 there. Let's rejoin your commentary team, Ian Danter, alongside Perry Groves. Perry, I just want to pick you up on something. You mentioned the pitch. Both of you mentioned the pitch and the state of the pitch at the moment. Is it a bit of a leveller? Is it making things more difficult for Coventry?
Well, I think what it is, it gives you more jeopardy in the game because obviously players are a little bit unsure, you know, of the trajectory of the ball and the direction it's going in, so it makes them take an extra touch. So I think that's helped QPR because it's enabled them to go and close down Coventry a little bit quicker. But I have to say, I just think that QPR have been far more productive in their attacking third than what Coventry have in theirs. If you look at, again, the stats, Walsh in the QPR goal, he hasn't had a save to make. So Frank Lampard will be pleased with the endeavour of his side in the first half, but I think he'll be disappointed with the quality they've shown in that final third. Sakamoto looked live in that first 5-10 minutes and then he faded out of the game. Sims has looked really isolated. So, but I think the pitch did play a part in the two injuries that we saw from Dembele and Mason Clark. So I think that Dembele definitely got his feet caught in the, I said turf, and Dan's pulled me off it, and he basically said mud. So I think the pitch did play a bit of a part in those two players' injuries.
Well, the teams are back out at Loftus Road. Let's rejoin Perry alongside your match commentator, Ian Dante.
Cheers, Ollie. QPR about to get us back underway. Kicking from right to left as we look from our position right at the back of the main stand here. So, as they love to do, QPR heading for the loft end in the second half away to our left in their blue and white hoops with the white shorts and socks. Coventry in their change strip of the fluorescent orange are kicking from left to right then towards their supporters who are in the top tier of the school end away to our right here at Loftus Road in West London. Ellis Sims giving chase already in the early stages of this second half, but Joe Walsh lets the ball bounce over his head and can claim it. So it's Walsh in goal for QPR, Edwards, Dunn, Cook, Norrington, Davis, Madsen and Hayden, and then it's Benny, Vale and Smith behind Coney. Benny coming on as a first half substitute for the stricken Dembele. As for Coventry, Rushworth the keeper, Van Eyck, Thomas, Kitching and De Silva, Eccles and Grimes, Sakamoto, Rodoni and Essa coming on for Mason Clark, who was also injured in that first half, and Sims up top. And Coventry have been awarded a free kick in the early stages of the second half as Cardiff, who were 1-0 down the League One leaders at Burton, have immediately equalised at the start of the second half through Alex Robertson. That's 1-1 at the Pirelli. Keep you updated with goals as they go in around the country this afternoon. Arsenal 2 up at Leeds. I was told by Perry to say that, just to remind everybody. Still no goals, Brighton, Everton, and Bournemouth 1-0 up at Wolves.
How Birmingham getting on?
1-0 up at Oxford.
I was told by Ian Dante to remind him of that beginning of the second half.
Here's Sakamoto for Coventry down the right-hand side, faced up by Paul Smith. He's trying to get the better of him, twisting and turning, getting to the dead ball line. Just gets a nudge from Smith, but down he went, Sakamoto, and didn't get the decision from the referee, and it is a goal kick to QPR in the end away to our right. As Huddersfield go 2-0 up at Peterborough. Radinho Bolka with the second for the Terriers.
That was more like a sack of potatoes there from Sakamoto, because obviously Smith is going shoulder to shoulder, and he did really well, Smith. He just leant into him, and then Sakamoto went down quite rightly again. Josh Smith, the referee, isn't giving any cheap free kicks.
Edwards hits the ball long downfield. Benny giving chase. He won't get there because Kitching, the Coventry centre half, wins an all-important header. Goes downfield and touched out of play for a Coventry throw on their left-hand side to be taken by Welshman Jay De Silva, who will be desperate, I'm sure, come the summer to go to the World Cup if Wales can get through that playoff pathway with Northern Ireland and Italy in that group of teams.
Just going to Coventry City, just trying to get a little bit more width now. Sakamoto just getting out on this right-hand side, right on the touchline. SA on that left-hand touchline. But again, QPR are just setting that sort of that mid-foot block, that 4-4-2, where they're saying basically to the centre halves, Thomas and Kit, you can have it. You know, we're not going to come and try and engage you because we're going to try and keep our shape. Now it's up to Coventry to see if they can weave their way through.
They can keep their sheep as well if they want.
On this pitch they can.
Yeah, sheep, looks like sheep have been on there for a good 6 months having a nibble, because there's not a lot of grass on that pitch. Should mention just how many injuries QPR have got at the minute. Ilias Chair we mentioned, Roman Burrell, their top scorer, out with a hamstring strain. You've got Poku out with a hamstring strain, Varane with a knee, Larkesh with an ACL, Clark Salter with an ankle. Lots of injury problems for Julian Stefan to deal with. Lots for Eric Ramsey, the new West Brom manager, to deal with. It's now Portsmouth 3, West Brom 0 at Fratton Park. Ibu Adams with the third for Pompey, who are picking up a little bit under John Mousinho.
Do you know what that... We haven't seen the game, Dan, we don't know the score, but that just smacks of a team that isn't ready for the fight and ready for the battle, because you know what it's like at Fratton Park. That Pompey side are very, very physical, and if you don't match them, then they'll steamroll you, and it looks exactly like what's happened.
0-0 here at Loftus Road. We've played 3 minutes of the second half on Talksport 2.
Do you know what, Dan? We love the Championship, right? And the pitch isn't great, but this has been a really, really good game of football. It's been intriguing to watch. You don't have to have, you know, all the technical skills and easy on the eye, you know, and teams are putting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 passes together without going anywhere. As I said, it's been the pace and intensity of the game has been spot on, because both teams are trying to win the game.
And I think QPR already feel better about things after the 7-1 defeat that they suffered at Coventry in August. That was their joint heaviest Championship defeat 20 years on from a previous occasion where they lost 7-1. So already I think it's fair to say at half-time they've got that nightmare exercise, that ghost, got it out of their system, because they're keeping Coventry keen here, and they've won a throw, QPR, down the right-hand side, which they want to take quickly. Edwards almost at the 18-yard line, but across comes Paul Smith, who's going to take the long throw here, 0-0.
Dance, that was really, really good play from Kone, the QPR centre-forward, because he just picked it up on the halfway line on the left-hand side. He just took a chest and he just volleyed it first time out to the right-hand side, out to Edwards. Edwards just tried to play it down the line.
He's not scored since just before Christmas, Richard Kone. He's got 6 so far for his new club, but he looks a really neat and tidy centre-forward and good physical attributes as well. In comes the long throw from Smith, drops on the 6-yard line. It might drop for Kone, nods it down on the spin. It was QPR trying to force it home. I think it was Harvey Vale who was trying to get the effort on the turn, but it was blocked away by Coventry. Out it goes for a throw, but more encouragement for the home fans here. It's still, though, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Coventry City 0.
That was really good defensive play from Eccles, the Coventry City midfield player, just making sure that he goes and gets to the ball first, as QPR just trying to keep it alive on the edge of their Coventry 6-yard box.
QPR have it again with Paul Smith down the left-hand side, but he's offside as he picked it up. So Coventry have a free kick. You could hear the Coventry fans singing "Play Up Sky Blues" away to our right-hand side. Coventry's next 6 games, they've got Middlesbrough coming up at the CBS Arena, which is a huge game when you consider that Middlesbrough are winning against Norwich at the minute and just going a point behind Coventry. So Oxford and Middlesbrough at home for Coventry, and then away trips to West Bromwich Albion, who we've just mentioned 3-0 down, and Sheffield United. Whilst QPR are away at Charlton for a London derby next time out, and then home to Blackburn and away at Hull. So many teams jostling for position for the playoff pack, as well as for automatic promotion. Coventry have got a throw here down the right-hand side. 51 gone, 0-0, and Van Eyck's going to hurl another long throw into the box for the Sky Blues.
If you're Van Eyck, you look to see where Steve Cook is, the QPR captain, and not throw it in that area.
And yeah, he's found Steve Cook with that long throw.
I reckon that must be the 6th header that Steve Cook has won, hasn't he, from long throws.
Well, that's what he's in the side for. That's what you bring Steve Cook in, for the positional sense, to know where to be for these long throws and stop your goalkeeper being pressurised. They're dealing with the long throws well so far, QPR. But here's Van Eyck on the deck now, sliding it into Esse at the edge of the area, back to goal. Back to Van Eyck, it goes now out to the right wing, and Rodoni for Coventry checks onto his left foot, whips the ball to the far post. It's headed down and in, and Matt Grimes has given Coventry the lead. What a ball in from Jack Rodoni from the right-hand side, checked onto his left, floated it to the far post, and it was Josh Eccles who got in at the far stick and nods it past Joe Walsh, and it is the leaders who lead at Loftus Road. Josh Eccles with the header. It is QPR 0, Coventry City 1.
Well, it's a brilliant cross from Rodoni on this right hand side with left foot, and that was the icing on the cake from Eccles, just coming in at the far post, just ghosting in. Really bad defending from QPR, went asleep completely. But we mentioned about the lack of quality from Coventry Dance in the final third. That was the best bit of quality we've seen from Jack Rodoni. That's what you want, is your big player standing up, just whips it in with his left foot from this right hand side. Brilliant ball, brilliant pace on it. Eccles just coming round the back, and then he just has a simple header just back across Walsh, gives him absolutely no chance to put Coventry City 1-0 up here against QPR at Loftus Road.
As Swansea take the lead at Watford as well through Marko Stamenic. And so Josh Eccles, who last scored against Birmingham in that defeat they suffered at St Andrews a few weeks back. It's his 4th goal of the season, Josh Eccles, and he stole in at that back post, but for Rodoni to find him was real top quality from a player who's been missed when he's been out injured for Frank Lampard's men, Jack Rodoni. And so the away end to our right, very happy with that. We've played 54 minutes on Talksport 2. The breakthrough then for the Championship leaders, looking to improve their home form. Gillingham 1, Bromley 4. Hat-trick for Ben Thompson for Bromley. What an afternoon for Andy Woodman's side. 8 wins in their last 10. It's going to be 9 wins in 11. Absolutely cruising towards automatic promotion as things stand. Could we say the same for Coventry City if they can keep up this performance and results in the next few weeks? Essa to the byline, puts the ball to the far post, nodded back across the face of goal by Sakamoto, and then Sims accidentally catches Steve Cook in the head as he tried to fire the ball home. Accidental. Steve Cook's down hurt and needs treatment. Nothing intentional from Ellis Sims, but Essa dug out across from the left. Sakamoto unselfishly heading it back across the 6-yard line, and Sims on the swerve caught Steve Cook's head rather than the ball. 1-0 to Coventry.
Totally accidental there from Ellis Sims. Good play from Coventry City's 2 wide men. He said initially Esse's looked really good, Dance, hasn't he? Since he's come on, he looks very balanced. Yeah, he's got good touch, good awareness. Gets to the byline, you've got to make sure then you're just dinking it up to the far post. Sakamoto does again what you should do when you come to that right hand side. Make sure you're on the far post, just tries to head it back to Ellis Sims, and Steve Cook does brilliantly well, making sure he gets his head on the ball. Say referee again, Josh Smith gives a foul quite rightly, but doesn't give a yellow card because it was accidental.
Steve Cook still getting treatment in the penalty area to what might be a facial injury we can't quite see from here. So again, players have come to this near side to have a drink. Reminder that Liverpool-Newcastle in the Premier League is live on Talksport tonight at 8 p.m. Faye Carruthers will be your host. Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce, the commentary team at Anfield. Meanwhile, here on Talksport 2, we've got a mix of sports for you. We've got the E-Prix, the Miami City Formula E Grand Prix, with Lewis McGlade and John Jackson, your commentary team. That's from 6:30, round 3 of the Formula E Championship this season. And then we're off to Torrey Pines after that for PGA Tour Golf. The Farmers Insurance Championship is into day 3. Oldham 0, Cambridge 1 in League 2. Cambridge, 3 straight wins, moving up to 3rd in the table. Lead through a penalty from Ben Knight. And just to remind you of the scores elsewhere around the country, still goalless in the Premier League at Brighton, between Brighton and Everton. Arsenal, the leaders, 2-0 up at Leeds. Although Bukayo Saka, we gather, was injured in the warm-up and has not played today. Bournemouth still 1-0 up at lowly Wolves. And in the Championship, the games with goals: Middlesbrough 1, Norwich 0. Millwall 1, Sheffield United 1. Oxford 0, Birmingham 1. Portsmouth 3, West Bromwich Albion 0. And as I just told you a moment ago, Watford 0, Swansea 1. And there's a goal here too. If you're just tuning in to EFL Game Day Live, it is 1-0 to Coventry City, the leaders, courtesy of a header from Josh Eccles on 53 minutes. We're back underway, and Steve Cook will be back out in just a moment, having come to this near touchline, and QPR temporarily down to 10, but they've won a throw on the far side. Now, what do QPR do here, Perry Groves, about getting back into this? They've fought and hassled and harried well, but that bit of quality from Rodoni finding Eccles has made the difference.
It has made a difference. Say that quality from the right hand side, brilliant cross. Just looking at the QPR, you've got Sato obviously come and play in wide areas. Ryan Coley as well. You know, a little bit of quality, very good in the 1v1s. So Julian Stefan, he'll be pleased the way that QPR played, but he'll be disappointed the goal they conceded because Edwards and Dunn on the far post. They've got to do better, Dance. There was no awareness from either of them that Eccles was just sneaking round the back, and it was a really cool header from him to put Coventry 1-0 up.
Long throw from Paul Smith on the far right-hand side of the field for QPR. Looking for Jimmy Dunn. He got the header on it, but he got too much on it, really. It just ended going straight behind on the full for a Coventry City goal kick away to our left-hand side. 1-0 Coventry.
Yeah, I know both teams have got a long throw specialist, which I love. Someone who made a career out of a long throw, like with Paul Smith for QPR and Van Eyck with Coventry. But sometimes you've got to sort of mix it up a little bit. You know, sometimes just go for a short one and try and, you know, entice the defence just to come that little bit further out and get your cross in. So, yeah, just need to be a little bit more imaginative with their long throws.
Rushworth has it for Coventry. That brilliant save he made from Kone's looping header in the first half, even more important in the context of the scoreline that we have now with Coventry in front. Here is Rodoni, whose assist provided that goal. charging down the right-hand side again. Great, strong run from Rodoni. Floats the ball into the area, but that's a comfortable catch for Walsh in his 6-yard box, and quickly releases from hands, looking to get Kone away down the right-hand side. Kitchen did enough to get it away, but Harvey Vale will pick up the loose ball for QPR. Plays a 1-2 with Benny and brings the ball in field and then slides the ball into the feet of Smith. Smith, heavy touch under pressure from Van Eyck. And then Van Eyck will just put his foot through it. You'll have heard the thump of boot against ball as it went downfield. Sims trying to pressurise Cook, but Cook heads it down neatly to find Norrington Davis, and Norrington Davis works it back to Steve Cook, who's got time now to measure a pass. There's 2 balls on the pitch for the moment, spotted by the goalkeeper, but the referee blew his whistle anyway. Why do that? Just let the game continue.
Do you know what happened? That came from when Rodoni went down the right-hand side. He got his cross in and Walsh just plucks it out of the air, and we have the multi-ball system, and he booted the other ball, which was on the side of the pitch, and it hit one of the advertising boards and then did come straight back on again.
Walsall have equalised at Chesterfield in League 2. Albert Adoma, Uncle Albert, making it Chesterfield 2, Walsall 2. Accrington 3, Cheltenham 0 in the same division. Devon Matthews gets the third for Aki. 1-0 here to Coventry City. We played an hour on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Coventry City, who haven't won away since November, have the slight advantage against QPR. Lovely touch from Benny, almost got Edwards away down the right-hand side, but he just ran out of room at the crucial moment. Solihull Moors 0, York 1. York lead in the National League with a penalty from Alex Hunt at the Armco. I'd like to say I could see activity on either bench, but you can't see the benches from down here.
The thing is, Dan, it's just coming up to 62 minutes played, so QPR have just had a little lull, haven't they, after they conceded the goal. So now it's up to the manager to try and affect what's going on the pitch. And you say there doesn't look like there's any movement at the moment from the QPR bench.
Van Eyck gets beaten to the ball by Rhys Norrington Davis. Good strength from the Welshman, but his clearance only finds Eccles, the goal scorer. He tries to send a cross in for the right. It goes out of play for a corner kick to Coventry at the school end. They lead by a goal to 0 here at QPR.
Yeah, since Coventry have gone 1-0 up, they've found that extra sort of half a yard down, haven't they? Just a little bit sharper, a little bit quicker. This time it was Eccles just getting himself down the right-hand side, trying to get his cross in with his right foot. Again, really good defending with Cook and Norrington Davis on the left-hand side.
So Grimes will have the corner kick, where the school then meets the main stand that we are sat in. And QPR have left 3 up, so Coventry have had to bring 3 back. In comes the corner from Grimes, headed out by Cook, but it's picked up by Eccles. Finds Esser in the centre of midfield, tries to clip the ball into the area. QPR do enough to get it half clear, and then the header down will find Van Eyck just at the edge of the centre circle. Lob downfield, comes out to the edge of the area. Fair shot from Rodoni's well held, but the whistle had already gone for a foul. Cardiff are now 2-1 up at Burton. They were 1-0 down, the League One leaders, but it's now 2-1 to Cardiff. And Cambridge have got a second as well at Oldham. Lewis Apera with the second for the U's up at Boundary Park.
Burton have been decent at home the last 4 games, down 7 points, same as in the previous 8, so good response from Cardiff.
So the Bluebirds lead 2-1 at the Pirelli here at Loftus Road on Talksport 2. It is QPR 0, Coventry 1, 63 minutes played. Isaac Hayden in possession for QPR, plays a diagonal ball right to left, seeking out Smith. So another for Alex Robinson, incidentally, that second goal for Cardiff. He scored both this afternoon for Brian Barry Murphy's side. Steve Cook finds Nicholas Madsen just inside his own half. Lovely diagonal ball seeking out Edwards. Edwards just nods it infield. Benny goes into the area, tries to nod it past Rushworth, but he couldn't get the loop on the header, and it was a comfortable save by Rushworth at his near post. Certainly far more comfortable than the header he had to deal with from Kone in the first half.
Yeah, really good play from QPR, just switching it from left to right. Very clever header from Ronnie Edwards there, just releases QPR down that right-hand side. Just can't quite get it over Rushworth. It was really good positional play actually from the Coventry City goalkeeper. In the end, it was a simple save.
Kone for QPR feeds the ball in field to Madsen. Madsen spots the run of Edwards, moving up on the right-hand side. Rolls his foot on the ball. Hayden makes a run down the right-hand side, but it's gone back in field to Vale. He tucks it back to halfway. Tranmere 0, Salford 1 in League 2. Salford had their first League 2 defeat in 10 last time out, but they lead there. And Marvin Duksh has made it Oxford 0, Birmingham 2 in the Championship. Here at the Loftus Road, it is still QPR 0, Coventry 1. Out to the left-hand side it goes for Paul Smith. Gives it back infield to Norrington Davis, who misses out Cook and gives the ball back to his keeper. Fleetwood equalise against Notts County in League 2. That's 1-1. And it was George Grant that got the goal for Salford at Tranmere. Ball up to halfway, but Coventry win it back as QPR were trying to feed the ball up to Richard Kone, but the fluorescent orange shirts of Coventry City have it back. Neat 1 and 2 touch passing between De Silva, Grimes and Kitching. Grimes plays it out a little bit further left to Eccles, and then when it's touched in field, finally QPR get a touch on the ball and they've won it back. Tucked in field for Vale. Early pass down the right hand side. Kone's going through the middle. Madsen finds Vale. Oh, what a goal! Kone! Amazing goal! Ball in for the right from Madsen. Vale made the run to the far post. In went Kone to the near, and he did a Gianfranco Zola back flick at the near post to get it past Rushworth, and Coventry have been pegged back at Loftus Road with a sensational goal, his first since late December. Richard Kone makes it QPR 1, Coventry 1.
Dancy said that Kone's been a handful all afternoon. What a fantastic goal. That's why you pay your money to come and watch football, Dance, to be excited, to be exhilarated. Exactly what Kone have done. Worked really well down the right hand side from QPR. As the ball comes out to Madsen with his cross across the 6-yard box. Kone just makes sure that he gets across the defender at the near post. As I said there, he's actually Gianfranco Zola'd it with the instep of his right foot. It is a magnificent finish from Kone. As soon as he gets that flick in, he just looks over his left shoulder and he thinks, actually, Rushworth, you might be good in goal for Coventry. You've got no chance of saving that.
7th goal in his QPR career. He won't score a better one for an awfully long time. Richard Kone. It's all square on Talksport 2, and we have a quarter of the game to go. Coventry have got to go again. De Silva floats the ball into the area. Edwards heads clear. Now what happens? Does Frank Lampard go to his bench and look for reinforcements to try and get back in front? Now Eccles, who got the lead for Coventry with that far post header. Back for Van Eyck on halfway, and further back for Carl Rushworth, who, as Perry Groves rightly said, could do nothing about the quality of that finish from Richard Kone. Kilmarnock 3, Aberdeen 0 in Scotland. Tyrese John-Jules with the third for Killie. This could be their first win in 18 games. Coventry down the right-hand side, loose possession. Picked up by Isaac Hayden. Smith tucks it in field for Kone. Trying to out-muscle Bobby Thomas. Does well. Kone stays on his feet. And it's played out to Edwards. And here come Queen's Park Rangers again. Down the right-hand side. It's tucked in field for Benny. He'll lay it off to halfway. And Madsen, whose cross set up Kone for that equaliser. Edwards again. Down the right-hand side. Options. Kone's gone into the box. Also out there is Vale. Tucks it back for Madsen. Madsen plays the ball back out to Vale, right hand side. Early cross comes in, chested away at the far post by Van Eyck under pressure, but QPR trying to get the loose ball. Sakamoto can only clear the ball straight out of play for a throw as Arsenal go 3-0 up at Leeds United in the Premier League. Victor Gyökeres gets the third for the Arsenal, and Stockport equalise at home to Plymouth. That's 1-1 in League One. Kyle Wootton with his 14th of the season. QPR fans are believing here, Perry. 1-1.
Dance, you could just tell the belief that you said there. The equalising goal from Kone has been a handful all afternoon. It's going to be another long throw from Smith from this left-hand side.
Into the penalty area it will come eventually from Paul Smith. He's just waiting for the referee to blow his whistle so he can restart play. Smith hurls it in to around the corner of the 6-yard box. Sims heads clear for Coventry. Rodoni gets an important touch to get it further downfield, but comfortably into the path of Steve Cook, who can guide it back to his keeper. Joe Walsh stood in the midway point of his own half. Just hits a long diagonal downfield looking for Madsen. Headed up in the air, it'll drop for Isaac Hayden. Nods it to the edge of the box, it'll drop for Vale. Lobs it into the area. Benny with a shot. Saved by Rushworth. Down at his near post. Big chance. It was tough for Daniel Benny. Came over his head. He did well to get the shot on target, but Rushworth was equal to it. QPR 1, Coventry 1.
Dan, you know what? He has to score. Just a little lofted ball there from Madsen. It just drops to Bene, and as the ball just drops down over his shoulder, I don't think he really had the belief dance. He just sort of stuck his right foot out, and it went just tamely through to Rushworth. I think if he takes another step and then he just hits it with the top of his right foot and gets a proper volley in, then he scores.
QPR 1, Coventry 1. Just over 20 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be a very intriguing last 20 minutes or so in West London, as the Championship leaders are going to try their best to get their noses back in front. But in doing so, they may well leave gaps that QPR, who want a playoff place for themselves, will want to exploit. Oldham 0, Cambridge 3. Another for Lewis Apparay, putting Cambridge further clear. And Fleetwood 1, Notts County 2. Matt Dennis with the change, and a change being made by Queen's Park Rangers, and Paul Smith has put in a shift this afternoon, but he's going to leave it for Koki Saito, the Japanese midfielder. Came from Belgian football. He's a popular figure here. You heard the cheer from the loft end as he's introduced, and he's just as tricky on the left-hand side as Paul Smith is.
Yeah, very much so, Dad. I think Paul Smith is full of energy and endeavour, and he's put a real shift in. But I think with Sato, I think he's just a little bit better in the 1v1.
And a like-for-like switch for Coventry City. Off goes Ellis Sims, and on comes the American Haji Wright for these last 20 minutes. But he's going to go into the centre and hopefully get on, from Coventry's perspective, get on this latest long throw from Milan van Ewijk. In fact, a free kick from Grimes. Great delivery and headed over the top by Kitching. Preston have taken the lead through a penalty at Ipswich Town. Ipswich starting the day in 3rd, 0, Preston 1. And Luton lead Blackpool by a 1-0 in League One. Nobody in 4 for Luton Town. And Brighton have taken the lead in the Premier League against Everton. Pascal Gross with the opening goal for the Seagulls.
Do you want to give me my other inane stat of the day?
Another one.
Ipswich have only lost consecutive championship matches once under Kieran McKenna. So they lost last time out against Sheffield United, losing today against Preston. And that's Preston's first goal in 4 championship games.
Yeah, they got absolutely hammered as well last time out, Preston. 4 defeats without scoring. But it's Lewis Gibson that's given them the lead. I'm not sure whether it is a penalty or whether it's a rebound from a penalty, but all counts. 1-0 to Preston. Rotherham 2-0 up at Exeter through Joe Rafferty. And we have just over a quarter of an hour to go. 72 minutes gone on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Here come QPR at 1-1. It's Vale from the left-hand side. Cross saved by Rushworth. In comes Madsen! Nicholas Madsen drives it in from 15 yards out, and QPR have turned it around, and Coventry City, the leaders, are getting that sinking feeling on the road once again. The cross from the left-hand side from Vale was pushed out into space by Carl Rushworth, and running onto it was the Dane Nicholas Madsen with an unerring finish to make it QPR 2, Coventry City 1.
Brilliant play from QPR down the left-hand side. Just Sato just linking up with Norrington Davis. He said there, and then pushing them all down that left-hand touchline to Vale, and then Vale just whipping his cross in. Rushworth comes out, gets a big right palm to it, the ball comes out, and as it rolls to Madsen, you could hear the anticipation from the QPR fans, Dan, and you're thinking, can he keep his cool? Can he be calm? Exactly what he does. With his right foot, he just side foots it with pace, with power, just smashes it into the roof of Coventry City's net to put QPR 2-1 up here at Loscombe Road against Coventry.
3rd goal of the season, and a crucial one for Nicholas Madsen. And now QPR are in exactly the same position as they were going into added time last week against Wrexham, and they ended up surrendering all 3 points. They won't want lightning to strike twice. They wanted to get it right and hold the position that they have. And Frank Lampard stood down beneath us has seen his side for the second game in a row go from 1-0 up to 2-1 down, Perry Groves.
Yeah, I think they had a good sort of little 5-minute spell when Coventry went 1-0 up down, so they started to control the game. But then I just think they just sat a bit deep. They sat off of QPR. QPR just started to pass the ball a little bit quicker. They got a worldie of a goal from Kone to put themselves back in it at 1-1 at near post with his
free kick from Grimes into the QPR area, headed down and out by Kone. Benny didn't quite get the ball further clear, so Essa wins it back for Coventry City. Chips the ball back into the box, headed down as far as Haji Wright. Drive beaten away by Walsh at his near post, but the whistle had already gone for a foul. 2-1 QPR, just over a quarter of an hour to go on Talksport 2. Poised is, well, that doesn't do it justice the way this game is set up, for a frantic finale.
Well, I said, Dad, the game hasn't relented, is it, from the first minute until we are where we are now with 15 minutes to go, because both teams have been on the front foot. They both want to score when they're in possession. You have to say it's hats off to QPR after going 1-0 down, because they didn't lose belief. They still kept playing, they still kept just trying to move the ball around, and the 2 goals they've scored have been of the highest quality.
Ball's out of play for a Coventry throw in their left back position. Exeter 0, Rotherham 3 now. Harry Gray with the third for Rotherham. They got their first win in 10 last time out. Now Matt Hamshaw looks like he's going to get back-to-back wins. Cheltenham have a goal back at Accrington. Accrington 3, Cheltenham 1, Jordan Thomas. Bobby Thomas clears for Coventry, who are 2-1 down now at QPR with less than quarter of an hour to play. Kone giving chase, but Kitching will hook clear for Coventry up to halfway. Headed back downfield by Edwards. Lovely touch from Sato. Almost got Vale in behind the Coventry defence. Clear to halfway. Norrington Davis tries to float it down the right-hand side for Daniel Benny. He'll get it eventually, the Australian. With De Silva at his back. Important footing from De Silva. It's out of play. Long throw. Has they got a long throw specialist out there now that Paul Smith has gone off? It seems that Steve Cook's going to go over there and take charge for QPR. They're 2-1 up here, the R's.
Knowing Steve Cook, he'll take long throw and he'll get on the end of it himself. Yeah, that's how good he's been in defensive penalty area for QPR.
And it will be Cook from the right-hand side. He just had a few instructions from his mate Jimmy Dunn, who's now made his way to the edge of the penalty area. In it comes from Cook. Dunn is the target. He's took a touch, but he was manhandling the Coventry defender to get hold of possession there, Jimmy Dunn. Free kick given to Coventry City. Seconds tick away here. 77 minutes played on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Great game. Really enjoyed being here this afternoon. Although Frank Lampard's not enjoying things too much right now, nor is Coventry players. Deja vu from what happened on Monday night at Carrow Road, live on Talksport 2.
Well, at the moment, the wheels are wobbling like a clown's car, aren't they, for Coventry City? They've got to make sure that they don't fall off. It's whether they can nick themselves an equaliser.
Another long throw from Van Eyck into the QPR penalty area, but headed out only as far as Sakamoto, but it's headed away by Vale. Kone trying to close down Eccles, and Eccles, he was forced to hook the ball all the way back into his own half. Goals going in. Burton 2, Cardiff 2. Burton were 1-0 up and 2-1 down, but Kyron Lofthouse makes it 2-2 against the league leaders of League One. Swindon have come from behind to lead against Barrow 2-1. Exeter 0, Rotherham 4. Just piling on the goals now, Rotherham. Back in form through Sean McWilliams. Coventry send the ball downfield. Jimmy Dunn puts his head in front of the Coventry attacker and gets it clear. Kitching finds Grimes. And back it goes to Bobby Thomas, and we all take a breath with 12 minutes to go. QPR 2-1 up on the league leaders. And reminder that Middlesbrough are hot on Coventry's heels. Because with the way things are, Coventry will still be top, but only on goal difference. And it is a massive goal difference of 10 goals over Middlesbrough. But Middlesbrough still 1-0 up against Norwich City. So that 10-point lead that Coventry had before Christmas will have completely evaporated at full time if things stay as they are. Swansea 2-0 up at Watford as well. Josh Key with a second for the Swans. Goal kick as Esse tried to get the better of Jimmy Dunn and came off second best, I think it's fair to say. Another change being made by Coventry City, and Yang Min Hyuk, their recent arrival From Spurs, the loanee, he's going to come on, a Korean for the Japanese Sakamoto. So Yang, 19 years of age, was on loan at Portsmouth until January, where he scored 3 goals in 17. Hull lead at Blackburn. Lewis Kumas just arrived on loan from Liverpool, scores on his debut for Hull City. Big goal for Hull. They're trying to reel in the top 3 as well, the way Hull are going. Could be 4 straight wins for the Tigers. Back underway we go with a goal kick for QPR. Smacked downfield by Walsh, looking for Kone to try and win the header. Kitchen got the better of him that time. Ball drops on halfway. Rodoni flicks it forward looking for Wright, but QPR deal with it. And it's sent back to Walsh once again, this time by Edwards. Walsh clears first time of asking, slightly awkwardly. Doesn't quite reach halfway, but a good flick on from Benny. But instead it will be picked up for Coventry by Matt Grimes. Touched in field by Yang, but that was straight into the path of a Coventry player. And now Kone giving chase, although Kitching's well ahead of him and will nod the ball back to his keeper. So 10 minutes to go, Perry Groves. What next, I wonder?
Well, it's just, can Coventry City craft that equaliser? Esse's come out on this right-hand side of Yang going out onto the left-hand side.
Yang keeps it in play, both at the dead ball line and then as he scurries back, keeps it in play at the touchline as well. Matt Grimes down the left-hand side for the league leaners, tries to slide it down the edge of the penalty area for Esse, but it's cleared away, and Richard Kone giving chase down the right-hand side will get their first need support. Only Sato is there with him at the moment, getting into the area now. Kone, right-hand side, can't get past the challenge of Liam Kitching, who did really well, stood his ground and won the ball back for Coventry City.
Yeah, Kone just a little bit isolated, because understand now QPR try and just protect this 2-1 lead. He's in that right-hand corner. He's got to make sure that he keeps hold of the ball. He just tried to roll his foot over top of it, and Kitchen nicks it off him and then gives the ball away cheaply, and Coventry regain possession.
Kept in play by Rodoni on the far side of the field. QPR 2, Coventry 1. QPR had twice as many shots as Coventry, 14-7 in this game, and they have the lead through that unerring finish from Nicholas Madsen. But here come Coventry. Esse can't control the ball. It was actually a poor pass intended to find him. Isaac Hayden's just sat on his backside needing some treatment, and so there's going to be a break in play here and a chance for everybody to collect their thoughts with about 8 minutes of normal time to go. Perry Groves 2-1 QPR.
Yeah, just looking at Thomas there when he's on the ball, just in the right hand side for Coventry. Then all he's got to do with Esse's just got to come a little bit wider. He's got to make sure he gets his heels right on the touchline, so then he gives a better angle for Thomas to try and find him, when he's gone sort of 5 to 8 yards infield, and that then narrows everything down, and Thomas ends up hitting it out of play.
That Hull goal, incidentally, from Lewis Kumas, it does mean that Coventry and Middlesbrough, as things stand, would be on 58 points at the end of the day with 30 games played. Hull would be on 53, having played a game less. 29 games played, so Ipswich, who are losing, are going to be the ones that miss out today. Preston are still 1-0 up at Portman Road through that Lewis Gibson goal. So Hull City leapfrog Ipswich as things stand, and will be another team to give Coventry something to think about at the top of the table.
Also, for Millwall obviously drawing 1-1 at the moment. If they can nick a win up, then they'll jump above Ipswich on to 52 points.
Millwall currently 1-1 with Sheffield United. Sam Field is coming on to replace Isaac Hayden, who can't complete the game. I mentioned he went down injured, so he's going to go off. And so Sam Field, who came to QPR initially on loan, I think, from West Bromwich Albion back in 2021. He's very nearly at 200 appearances for Queen's Park Rangers, Sam Field. Real great servant over these last few seasons for the Super Hoops, and he's coming on for Hayden. Straight swap in midfield, Perry Groves.
Yeah, very much so. So Isaac Hayden gives QPR that little bit of experience in there, doesn't he? You know, when obviously the game's been very, very helter-skelter, he's the one who sort of calms everything down, just stays in that midfield position to protect his two centre-halves, Dunn and Cook. So that's what Field will have to do when he comes on.
Stockport 2, Plymouth 1, another for Kyle Wootton, 15 for the season. Now goes joint top scorer of League One with Don Ballard. So QPR 2, Coventry 1, 6 minutes of normal time to play on Talksport 2. Remember, we've got the Miami Ypres coming up at 6:30 tonight, and then live goal for you from Torrey Pines, the Farmers Insurance Union, Day 3, whilst on Talksport tonight at 8 after the game day phone-in with Jamie O'Hara. And I'm not sure that it's Jason Cundy today because Chelsea are playing, so it's Rory Jennings that's helping out Jamie today. 03717 223344.
Well, Jamie would be delighted. Guilders winning 3-0 away from home, stretching that lead at the top.
Now it's 4-0 to Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus, so they're all scoring. Gyökeres, Jesus. Crisis? What crisis, eh, Pell?
Just calms everybody down, do a bit of yoga, have a nice little ice bath, a little bit of peppermint tea.
QPR 2, Coventry 1. Could be a bit of a panic setting in at Coventry if they keep surrendering points on the road like this. They've got to try and find a way back through if they want anything out of this game. Here's Yang down the left-hand side, the substitute, faced up by Edwards, works it back to Jada Silva, tried to pass the ball into Esse, but QPR won it back. Vale looks to release. Benny down the right-hand side, he'll get there. So it was a lovely weighted pass from Harvey Vale, but Benny, rather than charging down the right-hand side, holds play up for QPR. They're 2-1 up. They've got less than 5 minutes of normal time to negotiate this. Can they succeed where they failed last week from this winning position?
Or just if they've got any PTSD, obviously, from the Wrexham game when Mbenge got unnecessary sent off, and then Wrexham ended up winning it in 2 goals in added on time from Windass and Rathbone. So basically, they want to keep 10 outfield players on the pitch, Dan. So it might give them, more of a chance to see the game out.
It helps most teams, really, in that instance, if you can do that. Peterborough 2, Huddersfield 2. They've come from 2-0 down, Peterborough in League One. James Donnelly making it 2 each at London Road. Coventry 2-1 down here on Talksport 2. Esse down the right-hand side. Thought he'd won a free kick, but instead a throw-in's gone QPR's way. Down this left-hand side. They're cheering every decision that goes their way. The home fans. As things stand for QPR, they'd only move up to 11th. I mentioned that they were 6th until those 2 Wrexham goals yesterday. Such is the incredible closeness of positions from 6th down to 12th. But they would stay on 43 points, level with Watford, who were losing, and Bristol City, who lost heavily on Talksport 2 last night at home to Derby County. Preston up to 46 points with the win they're currently getting at Ipswich. Now here is Bobby Thomas for Coventry City. Less than 4 minutes to play. Attacking the school end to our right, Coventry, with those Coventry fans are hoping against hope that they can rescue something out of this game. Bournemouth go 2-0 up at Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League to continue their mini revival under Andoni Iraola. Strong header from Jimmy Dunn, or a brave header to keep it away from Haji Wright. Yang tried to loft it back for Grimes in the left midfield position, but it's thumped downfield instead by Daniel Benny, but it evades Richard Kone and ends up back with Carl Rushworth, the Coventry keeper. QPR 2-1 up here.
Yeah, just looking at QPR, that defensive shape, that 4-4-2 with Val going obviously lateral with Kone, but they've just started to sit that little bit deeper, which is understandable, trying to protect this 2-1 lead. And just looking from Coventry City's point of view, Jan's come on, hasn't really had an impact. Haji Wright's gone up front.
Great footing from Harvey Vale, and a lovely ball for Daniel Benny into the area right hand side, drives it across goal, and it's wide of the post. Lovely ball with the outside of the left boot from Harvey Vale to set Daniel Benny away down the right. The angle was tightening as he got into the area, so he drove it across the face of goal, but the wrong side of the post for QPR. Goal kick, 2-1.
What a ball from Harvey Vale from the centre circle. As you said, down to the outside of his left foot, just put a bit of swaz on it. Comes to Benny, just in the right-hand corner, the 18-yard box, does the right thing, tries to smash it across Rushworth, but he's got to make sure he hits the target. He's got to make sure he makes the goalkeeper make a save.
It's Alex Scott that got that second Bournemouth goal, and Swindon 3-1 up on Barrow now. Aaron Drinan goes top scorer of League Two with 15 for the season, with that third goal for the Robins. Here's Jack Rodoni for Coventry City, desperate for an equaliser, gets up to the edge of the area, drive is blocked, and it's sent downfield, and Richard Kone's giving chase up against Kitching. Kitching gets the important touch to nod it back to his keeper. That was a proper scrap for possession, that. in the centre of the Coventry half, but Kitching won the race.
Yeah, Kone didn't quite have that electric pace that you want. He's a strong runner rather than being like absolutely electric, Dance. And to be fair to Kitching, he did really well. Made sure he just let the ball bounce up and got his head to it first, put it back to Rushworth. So that enables Coventry to recycle possession.
Into the last minute of normal time. QPR 2, Coventry 1. Here comes Romain Esse, clicking the ball in field for Van Eyck. Rodoni up to the edge of the area, crowded out by blue and white hoop shirts. It's cleared downfield, but it will stay in play on this near side, the Coventry right. Van Eyck flicks the ball forward. There's an offside flag on the play. It's going to be a free kick to QPR. Peterborough 2, Huddersfield 3. No sooner have Huddersfield been pegged back, Cameron Humphreys puts the Terriers back in front. As we edge towards added time, we're about to find out how many minutes referee Josh Smith will add on at the end of this encounter. And as Perry Groves rightly said, PTSD, deja vu rumours will be going through QPR fans' heads as they see the board go up with them leading 2-1.
Well, to be fair, Dan, to say they've sat a little bit deeper, but they haven't actually retreated right to the 18-yard box, when Coventry got the ball. I'm just looking at adding on time.
7 minutes that we're into now.
Could you hear the groans?
I heard the groans. I'd be exactly the same if it was me. I'd get those PTSD feelings.
I want 17 minutes. This has been a brilliant game of football.
So we're into those 7 minutes now. On Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Coventry City, the league leaders, 2-1 down and about to see their 10-point lead that they had down to nothing, down to goal difference. QPR 2-1 up. Saito does brilliantly to keep the ball in play on this near side, but had to surrender possession in order to do so. Now Esse works the ball in field to Eccles, just over halfway. Floated pass looking for Yang. It's overhit. The Korean can't catch that. It's out of play. And Ipswich equalise against Preston. A penalty from Jack Clark. That changes things towards the top of the table. That will give Ipswich a point and knock Preston down to 45. Derby were in the playoffs last night after that 5-0 win at Bristol City, and we shouldn't be too surprised because Derby's away form is the best in the table. Everyone's jostling for position in the Championship. Again, fascinating division, and this is a fascinating climax. We've played a minute of the 7 that have been added on. QPR have won a free kick just shy of the halfway line. Can they hang on and avenge that 7-1 defeat handed to them by Coventry back in August?
Well, I think just a little desperation has just crept in for Coventry. We saw them, Eccles just picking the ball up in QPR's half. He's just tried to ping it out to Yang on that left-hand side for Coventry. And basically he needs to play another pass into Rodoni, just ease your way up the pitch to get in around the 18-yard box. And now obviously QPR got a free kick just 10 yards into their half. Not be any hurry to take it.
Jimmy Dunn floats it down the right-hand side. It bounces over the head of Conan, goes behind for a Coventry goal kick, and they're not going to hang around. Middlesbrough have beaten Norwich by 1-0. So they have the 3 points to go level on 58 points with Coventry as things stand. Coventry have possession. They bring it up to halfway with their captain, Matt Grimes. Bournemouth have beaten Wolves in the Premier League. Grimes tries to send the ball into the area, actually deflects into the path of Rodoni, sends it across the area, and it's cleared behind for a corner to Coventry, away to our right-hand side. What can they fashion here?
Yeah, a little bit of panic there from Sam Field. He's just come onto the pitch. Just as the ball come into him from Rodoni's cross, if he gets a proper side foot to it, he just puts it out for throwing, but he shanked it, corner for Coventry over their left-hand side.
To be taken by Matt Grimes. QPR have left 2 up, so Coventry have got to leave 2 back. Referee's just watching a bit of pushing and shoving. He's having a chat with Kone, just reminding him of his responsibilities, I think.
Yeah, you got Sato on this left-hand side, Benny over on that right-hand side.
On the halfway line. In it comes from Grimes, headed out from the near post by Sam Field, but it goes out of play for a Coventry throw, and Van Eyck sprinting across to that far side to try and hurl in another long throw to try and rescue it for Coventry. 2-1 QPR lead. 93 minutes have been played. 97 minimum we're expecting here at Loftus Road. QPR slide the ball out of play. It's another throw for Coventry. The first one wasn't taken long. This one will be.
The thing is, you need to mix it up, but not when you're trying to force an equaliser. So from Van Awijk's point of view, just make sure that you hoist it into the 6-yard box.
He's doing that now. Up go the heads at the near post. Drops almost for Esse, but it's anywhere will do for Harvey Vale. Just lofts it long downfield. Rushworth, the Coventry keeper, collects. Plays it to his right for Grimes. Inside his own half, inside the centre circle. Drills a ball from left to right. Headed back into the edge of the area from Thomas's header. But it's sent away by QPR. Can they hang on? Back it goes to Grimes again on halfway for Coventry City. Plays it to his left for Jay De Silva. De Silva chips the ball up to the edge of the area. Thomas heads it up in the air. Poor attempted clearance from Field. Just skied it along the 18-yard line. Comes out to Kitching. Fires it into the feet of Eccles, who tries to drive it. It's a very comfortable save for Joe Walsh. Saito's gone down off the ball. Kitching was closest to him. I don't know whether you saw anything there, Perry Groves, but Saito went down off the ball. Something happened there. Did you spot anything?
No, I just think there was just a little bit of a coming together. Maybe Saito's just gone down a little bit too easy.
And I think the referee has given a yellow card to Bobby Thomas. He was the man that made the challenge in the end. Brighton 1, Everton 1. Beto on 97 minutes has equalised right at the death for Everton, whose away form is pretty decent, even if Hill Dickinson hasn't been a particularly good home for them so far since they moved into their new ground. QPR 2, Coventry 1, 2 minutes of the minimum 7 to play out. And QPR have a free kick midway point of their own half, which they're in no hurry to take. Walsh sends it downfield, headed by Thomas against Vale, and it will drop down the left-hand side, and Saito, making a nuisance of himself, wins a throw-in for the R's.
That's exactly where Julian Stefan, the QPR manager, will want the ball deep in Coventry territory. Saito did really well, just tried to pull the ball out of the air. I think it's Van Awijk who just got the little toe in. So again, QPR not going to be in any hurry to take the throw in. They'll be hoping they can run the clock down.
Throw in down the left-hand side, but it doesn't work for QPR. They've surrendered possession immediately. Don't forget the game day phone-in coming up on Talksport with Jamie O'Hara and Rory Jennings. Get your calls in. Go on, QPR fans. Cheer Jamie up and tell him how well QPR have played today. And Coventry fans, how concerned are you that this away form could cost you automatic or the title? 03717 22 33 44. QPR hurl the ball downfield, but it's going to go behind for a goal kick. No, Rushworth prevents the goal kick. But there's 30 seconds of the minimum 7 to go. Coventry have got to get it downfield and get it down quick, otherwise they leave West London with nothing. And then Grimes passes straight out of play. A firm pass, far too firm for Jay De Silva to control, and that may well be that.
Joe, what dance from Grimes there, the one who drops deep, to get Coventry on the ball. Again, that is just pure tension. If he's playing free and they're not under pressure, he just rolls it out to De Silva on that left-hand side, and he's just put too much pressure on it.
There goes the full-time whistle. Loftus Road goes wild, and QPR revenge the 7-1 defeat they suffered at the hands of Coventry City at the start of the season. And Coventry City still haven't won on the road since November, and their 10-point lead that they had before Christmas has evaporated to nothing. They now only lead the championship table on goal difference, and they were a goal up here at Loftus Road against QPR. They led through Josh Eccles' neat far post header when Jack Redoni sent a lovely ball into the box. But then a quite spectacular equaliser from Richard Kone, ball in from the right-hand side, expertly turning with a back flick from Richard Kone past Rushworth on 66. And then on 73, crossed from the left-hand side, could only be palmed into open space by Carl Rushworth. And in came Nicholas Madsen to thump the ball home. And that was enough for QPR, who had only one win in 7 prior to today. They're keeping their playoff hopes alive, and in doing that today, Perry Groves, they've scuppered Coventry's hopes of keeping a points lead in the Championship.
Yeah, well, we thought Coventry having a little wobble, Dad, especially away from home. They've won in 8 away games now where they've got to make sure the wheels don't actually fall off. But you have to say, you have to give credit. It wasn't a shocking performance from Coventry City, Dad, by any stretch of imagination. They're just lacking that little bit of, maybe that little bit of spark, you know, that little bit of imagination. But it was a fantastic performance from QPR. We said suffering from the PTSD from the Wrexham defeat last time they were at Loftus, lost 3-2, but they actually responded brilliantly from going 1-0 down from a heady goal from Eccles. And you have to say, Dance, in the first half and in the second, we said that QPR were better in the final third, and that's how the game actually panned out, because Coventry City dominated possession, but QPR had 15 shots, 8 on target. Coventry City 9 shots, 2 on target. One of those obviously was the goal from Eccles. The other one was a simple save, a shot from Eccles straight at wall. So you have to say that QPR were absolutely outstanding here today at Loftus Road.
Well, there you go, Ollie. Back in the Talksport Towers studio, lightning did not strike twice for the QPR fans who looked at the stoppage time board when it went up to say 7 minutes when they were 2-1 up. But they held on this time, unlike last week, and they take the points. Coventry City will have to take a bit of criticism maybe, because that 10-point gap is now down to 0 at the top. QPR 2, Coventry City 1.
Ian Dunter, thank you very much indeed. Penny for the thoughts of Frank Lampard. Coventry pegged back at the top. They lead only on goal difference now, having been 10 points clear. Borough breathing down their neck, as will be Hull, as will be Ipswich, as will the rest of them. And Perry, this form on the road is more than just a blip now, isn't it? And it could be very costly.
Yeah, very much so. We said, it's 8 games now away from home. Haven't won since they beat Middlesbrough away in November. And as I said, this wasn't when you look at a team and you think, they've stunk. It wasn't a shocking performance in Coventry, but they're just missing that little bit of spark, that bit of energy. I think Frank Lampard will say to the owners, this team needs a couple of players coming in, and what we got tomorrow, that's it. The transfer obviously shuts.
Well, he's had a couple. He's had Essa come in, he's had Yang come in. There's a player that's come in as well, whose name escapes me, Jovan McCarmer, I think, something like that, Linda last week.
But don't you think they just looked a little bit flat? And we say they got themselves 1-0 up when Eccles got his header at the far post from a brilliant cross from Rodone. Apart from that cross from Rodone, I can't think of any other bit of quality we saw in the attacking third from Coventry City. Now, if you just put that over to QPR, and I have to say Nicholas Madsen, who was absolutely outstanding in the game anyway, QPR had far more quality in their attacking third than what Coventry City did.
Perry, how much of it is down to mentality though? Coventry go 1-0 up, and once again they've managed to lose this game 2-1 on the road. You mentioned that it sounds to me as if, as much as QPR had more quality, maybe they wanted it more as well.
I wouldn't say that, to be honest. I think from Coventry, you couldn't say again and say it's not lack of effort. I think they were just they just got tense. They were all right for 5 minutes after they 1-0 up. They started to get more passes in, but then when QPR came at them, there was a bit of sort of panic that set in, and you could tell that players were just putting the ball out of play under no pressure. We had an incident with Thomas where he tried to find Essay on the right-hand side, where he should have just sort of rolled it out to him, and he rolled it out of play. Grimes did exactly the same thing, where he should have just rolled it out to De Silva. He rolled it out of play. So I think you could tell that the Coventry players are feeling the pressure, but you've got to be able to handle that. But on the other side of it, you have to say the response from QPR was absolutely magnificent, because you've gone 1-0 down at home, against the league leaders. You'd been beaten 3-2 in your last home game against Wrexham, where you conceded in 2 goals in added time. And they didn't blink. They just kept playing. They just kept ticking over. Say Hayden and Madsen, got themselves on the ball in that midfield area. And we all love our football, right? I would say anybody's listening to this, you have got to watch the highlights on ITV from the Championship and the EFL for Kone's goal, because it was absolutely outstanding. It was a brilliant cross in from Madsen from the right-hand side, where he whips it across the 6-yard box. And Kone had been a complete handful all afternoon, give Thomas and Kitchen a real tough time. he just made the right run that you should do across the 6-yard box, and Dan described it brilliantly. It was like Gianfranco Zola, where you run across and you just do that little flick where you let it run across your body, and he flicks it with the instep of his right foot, and he looks over his left shoulder as if to say, Rushworth, you're getting nowhere near that. And he didn't. It was a goal of outstanding quality. And then you think both teams again, both teams went for the winner. Neither team sat back, and you're thinking, right, who can craft that chance? And again, it came from QPR down their left-hand side. Great link-up play from Sato and Norrington Davis. Then it comes to Val. Val crosses it across the 6-yard box. Rushworth comes out, gets a big right palm to it, and there was a intake of breath from every QPR fan here at Loftus Road, because the ball just rolled out, and they had that split half a second when they thought, where's the ball going? And they can see it's coming to Madsen, and it's whether he can have that calmness and that control, and it's exactly what he does. You could tell as he's running to it, he just took a deep breath, instead of his right foot, he smashed it into the roof of the net, and he put it past Rushworth, who was obviously trying to sprawl back, and it was a brilliantly crafted goal again. QPR go 2-1 up in the 73rd minute, and I have to say they saw it out quite comfortably. I can't remember Walsh in the QPR's goal having to make a save.
No doubt about that goal of the day. I fully endorse that, Perry Groves. What a finish it was. That equaliser from Richard Kone, and QPR go on to pick up a very important win. They're now just 4 points off the playoffs, and Coventry have to lick their wounds and go again. Ian Danter and Perry Groves, thank you very much indeed. As always, top commentary. As always, don't forget the game day phone in